What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I'm LotusAsakura. Shut the fuck up, nigga. I'm LotusAsakura, the one who never knows best. And yeah, I don't know in what form or fashion you're seeing this on the YouTube channel, but as you can see, I'm here in a Discord call right now, joined by several other members from the Dragon Ball FighterZ community, most of which, all of which I would say are players who you should know, love, and respect. And I guess just going in order for what we got here, we got Daniel, the kill. Shut up. The Kill Sage, Inzem, Jake Ryan, Pred, myself. Sage is in fact here. Just now.
When?
Oh, bro, I promise you, I don't understand how you ever became a top player with these types of reactions, bro. I just don't.
Sage literally just got here. Don't even talk to me. He literally popped in the intro.
We got Nitro, who's got the reactions of a dead cat somehow. Raptr, SeeReax, Seyhan, Wade, and Zane. And we may or may not have a couple other people pop in as this goes. Oh, Sage died.
And he's gone.
And he's gone.
And he's gone.
But yeah,
honestly can't blame him.
I gathered everyone here today because I wanted to get as many players as I could to discuss the most recent and potentially, as far as we're aware, final patch for the game and the current state of Dragon Ball FighterZ. Obviously, I've got a collection of a lot of different players here, not only just from around the country, but from around the world. So we got a bunch of different perspectives. I think a lot of them will be similar, but I think that a couple of them will differ here. So I think it'll make for a fun and interesting discussion. So I'm live on the Twitch channel right now, twitch.tv/LotusAsakura. Links always in the description down below. And some of these guys are live as well. Links to everyone and names will be on screen and in the description and stuff like that, where you can check people out, follow them, and all that good stuff. And yeah, however this makes it onto the channel, it does. And hopefully y'all enjoyed it if you weren't here for it live. And with that being said, fellas, how we feeling about the patch?
I feel like calling it the last patch is just like cursing it to get an even more cursed patch in the future, because we're on the final patch for real for like the 4th time now.
Yeah, they definitely made us believe that the final patch was going to be a couple patches ago, and they were like, but wait, we could fuck this up more.
And we made it.
I know a lot of you guys are professionals, you're gonna get mad, but the patch is kind of it kind of grew
honestly
on.
So that's one of the reasons why, I mean, obviously you the homie anyway, but a big reason why I wanted you in particular to be here, and I invited Dado as well, but he's got some stuff going on right now, so he unfortunately couldn't be here today. Because I know that you actually enjoy the patch and think more positively of it than I think some of us, and especially myself, do. And so I wanted some more positive perspectives on it as well, because I know that you're having fun with it. I mean, the combos are crazy. Your characters got buffed, well, aside from him getting nerfed with the meter game thing a little bit ago, but yeah, so actually, Dan, I'm very curious to hear. Let's actually start it off with somebody who's got more of a positive perspective, and then we could probably go down the line.
I have a positive perspective, actually.
A more organized.
Honestly, I'm gonna start.
No, you're not. You gonna sit your ass there. You gonna sit your ass right there.
This is very important. This is very important.
All right, what you got to say?
I'm gonna say some stupid shit.
Inbound.
Kennedy is in my lobby right now.
I knew it.
Oh my
this
God.
is literally the best patch.
Anyway, Dion, I'm very curious to hear what you have to say in regards to the patch and the current state of Dragon Ball FighterZ.
So when I was first playing it, I was like, this shit is so stupid. It's so dumb. Like everything I did, I was like, damn, this is so dumb. And then an hour passes and I'm just like, wow, this is so dumb. Haha. And then 2 hours pass. I'm like, dang, this is just so stupid. Next thing you know, I'm having the time of my life. It's like 4 hours. I'm like, damn, this patch kind of it. Like I didn't even notice all this time passing. I'm having fun. Like all the characters are crazy. I get it. It is chaotic. Like let me preface this by saying, if I was a professional player and had to like take this shit more seriously, then I'd be like, okay, this is kind of annoying. This is kind of like jank. Like all this random shit can happen. But like as a video game, this shit is like mad fun right now. Every character as an anchor can go crazy. And the linking the level 1s into the level 3s was like a really cool addition to me. Overall, and yes, all my characters did get buffed as well, but no bias. But yeah, I mean, I think the patch is kind of it. Every character is viable. I feel like we're getting as much character diversity now, like more so than we ever have in the past. It's not just like Fusion's Android 21. Like when I queue in, it could be really anybody. I'm hearing myself twice, by the way.
Yeah, I was letting you finish, but Inzem, I think it's coming from Inzem. He's got an echo over there.
Is that mine? Oh, my fault. Hold on.
Yeah.
I actually agree with him a lot on that, because like initially I thought this patch was just for like, as a competitive player, I thought it was completely garbage. But like the more I played the game, I'm like, you know what, this is actually pretty good. The fact that you can play a lot of your old teams that are viable now, like even characters like before that weren't really good, they're good now. So your season 2 teams are playable, your season 1 team, season 3, whatever. I think this is probably the most fun the game's gonna be since season 3, to be honest.
I do also feel like. Oh, I'm sorry. Mine's just like a short comment. That's like, I feel like if there is any like IP for shit to just be like crazy and constantly like happening all the time, is probably Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Like a way to put the patch is they have made the game more Dragon Ball.
More chaos.
Like character, like the level one. Like
that is
the
a
level ones
sentiment
into
that I've
level threes.
seen a lot in my comments on YouTube. Is that people are like, "Oh, the game feels more like Dragon Ball than ever before."
Yeah.
For the casual players as well, it's a lot more fun.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not a competitive player, you're probably having the time of your life.
So,
I think the best for content.
to add on to that, like,
I agree.
when I'm streaming, I actually noticed. I said it in my stream like a couple of days ago. I was like, yeah, this is very fun on stream. I couldn't imagine having to compete with this, but to like play just on
You
a
ain't
very
gonna have to
casual.
imagine it for very long, Bucko.
If I hit
the duality of man.
It's perfect that you said that, Lotus. If I hit 100 subs, I'm at 35 right now. If I hit 100 subs, I will be going to see Otaku and play Dragon Ball. Thank you for mentioning that, Lotus. I can't believe you said that for me.
Did this nigga just ask for subs on my stream? This is
Yep. You want to be a
insane.
smartass, right? You want to be a smartass. Anyways,
This nigga don't know.
Back to what I
I will
was
kick
saying.
him from this call right now.
Anyways,
Go
yeah,
ahead,
like,
secure the bag, dog. I'm trying to see you continue to play.
But my experience, like just playing casually, just chilling, just in my boxers, just playing TN. I'm just like,
why do we need to know that part? What made you go with that verse?
It's a figure
Very
of
necessary
speech.
detail.
it is a figure of
Personal attire.
Does it sound like that to me? I'm not gonna lie.
Nitro just adding to the list of reasons why he might get kicked out sometime.
Notice you invited Nitro to the call?
Look,
He did
you don't got
wouldn't
much
understand.
room to talk, Mr. T. Okay, so you guys there here on YouTube are gonna be missing some context, but that's a dangerous, vile person up there above me.
That bot is
You
deleted.
should have saw when he was a cat.
He was a what anyway?
Can we, hold on. I do want to hear everyone's like in-depth thoughts.
Yeah.
But like, can we get I don't know, a yes I like it or a no I don't like it? Just like
You just
really
wanna
quick,
go down
I
the
just wanna
line
see
one
what
at
the
a time
numbers
and-
are. Yeah, like
It's-
overall, what's the majority like consensus here?
All right, let's start with Daniel, and then we'll just go down the line. Daniel, do you like the patch?
Yeah, I think it's good right now.
Inzem, do you like the patch?
Yeah.
Jake Ryan, do you like the patch?
It's growing on me.
Okay, Fred,
I only like it because it's Tingon.
go figure. I don't. I don't like it personally, but that's just me. Nitro,
I like it very casually. I don't think I would like it competitively.
Raptor.
I like it casually as well, but I'm curious to see how it actually does turn out competitively.
Dion.
I think it's better for the overall health of the game in terms of the majority of people who are just like at the store picking up video games, like people who are competing. I understand where you're coming from, but that was a very long-winded yes. I like it.
Seyhan.
It's better than the previous patch, but I still think overall it's not really growing on me.
For sure. Wade.
Okay, since the next tournament.
Zane.
Not a big fan of it, and I despise the idea of competing on it.
Gotcha. So, okay, I'm actually really happy to say this because we got a pretty good mix now of people who are like not feeling it, people who are feeling it, and then several of you are like, I mean, it's fun while I'm playing it on stream, but I ain't looking forward to playing this at tournaments.
Yeah,
And,
that's kind of how all the competitive players feel.
Yeah.
Same.
And so
Yeah.
my next question to you guys then is, do you guys feel like the patch was a success? And I ask this because it seems very obvious to me, and maybe obvious to a lot of you guys, that they are not worrying about the people who are playing in these tournaments. I mean, it's not that they're not taking it into account at all, but their focus definitely seems to be the more casual audience, and people who are still new and picking up the game, or people who are new to fighting games, or people who are more people who care more about the IP of Dragon Ball and playing as Goku compared to playing the game competitively. So from that perspective, do you guys think this patch was a success, and do you agree with the fact that that's what they're trying to do?
I would love to chime in on this and give it like a little bit more of an in-depth answer, because from a commentator's perspective, right, it's supposed to be exciting, flashy for the general audience. Like most of the time in Twitch chat, you're going to have a ton of lurkers, ton of people chatting, and they just want to see Goku do some crazy shit, right?
Mhm.
That's what they want to see. They want to see somebody in Dragon Ball like connect to Kamehameha from full screen and then go in, or like before it was like you just vanish. But now it has that kind of impact, because anytime you've watched Dragon Ball, if somebody gets hit by a final flash or anything like that. They are getting absolutely blasted. You should be able to follow up after that. Like, exactly with Cooler's 3H in the movie, for example. He goes straight through Goku's beam and then just starts delivering the hands. And I feel like that's where most of the combos have really like gone to. It's just these characters get to show how powerful they are. And it's nice from a commentary perspective because you get to pop off and go through it. But as a competitive player, it really turned me off from it. So like the casual base, absolutely making content for this is like booming. You could just show some of the craziest stuff. It doesn't even have to be a 7-bar TOD anymore. Like you can TOD off of like all these different situations and the thumbnails make themselves. So I think content wise, it's wonderful. For the casual audience, it's great. And for what Bandai, I think, was trying to achieve, yes, they got there, but the competitive scene piece of it definitely got hurt. The execution piece of the conversation really got lessened. You can do baby's first combo with pretty much every single character, getting solo DRs in situations with Teen Gohan, looking at you, Pred, and it's just creating these crazy wild situations where it's like, wow, you know, this character had to give this up to get this situation. Nope, everybody gets everything. And then the bad part is Goku. Yeah, the bad part is there's still some stragglers. Like there are still some characters that need that love. And like as a competitive player, I'm happy I'm a commentator. That's where I'm at.
You had a good run, Jake.
I just want to say one thing real fast though. Lotus, I'm going to go against you a little bit for a second there. I literally do not think for a second that they considered the competitive side of this game at all when they made this patch.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I was going to say
I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they didn't completely disregard it, but I'd be lying to you if I said it doesn't feel that way.
I'm not even going to give them the benefit of the doubt with some of the stuff they did on this patch.
I'm not going to debate you on that because it's not like I struggled to agree. Like it's just. And that's another thing with me and this game and with Bandai and Arc System, whoever has the call, the most pull, calling the shots, is that like I want to love the game so bad. I'm always giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm always trying to be optimistic first, but I've just been hurt so much that it's like sometimes I can't help but to be like Mr. Gloom and Doom. But it's like, bro, I've been playing this game for 5.5 years and being one of its biggest supporters and content creators and pushing it and supporting it and doing everything that I can because I love that game so much. So
I think it's good and bad for the competitive scene. Now hear me out. Like I know for the competitive players, yeah, it's ass. Like damn, I feel for y'all.
So where's the good part?
For the people watching, I guess.
No, for real. Like think about it. Like what they're trying to do, they're promoting these competitive events for a reason. They want like a wide audience to like watch this and enjoy it. And like Jake said, as a commentator, it's super hype and all this. So it's weird because it's like at the expense of the competitive player, the competitive scene can potentially thrive more because of the fact that there's a bigger audience and like, you know, people are super hyped. Like think about all the crazy moments that are gonna like, you know, clips that are gonna spawn from this patch when the next big major event happens. Like all the crazy, you know, limit break character comebacks and hype shit like that. So again, it's weird. It's at the expense of the competitive player, but I feel like the competitive scene in a way gets like uplifted.
I see what you say. That's just so
sanity is traded for views.
But we're literally going to have that happen for a single tournament. Then everyone's going to freak out about it. Everyone who watches is going to freak out about. And then every single player who played in it that had happened to all gonna be like, I'm not doing that again. I'm just gonna go watch.
That's my fear. Is people
unless you're France and masochists.
That makes a lot of sense though, because like the fact that this patch is so good for the casual base is gonna bring more players into the game. So naturally,
more casual players will be interested in the competitive
instead of the 50 entries, the 100 entries we got out of major or whatever. We're gonna have even more players. Yeah, there'll be more casual to be weaker in terms of strength and in terms of skill level, but we have overall more players because like everybody who came back to the game saying, "Oh my god, I could do level 1 to level 3," and they're like, "Wow, I want to play this game now."
Yeah, right. Lotus, I got a perfect analogy or metaphor, whatever the word is for this.
For sure, go on.
You know how like in the 90s basketball, like they all, or maybe even the 80s, they all like dribbled it like right below their hands, no crazy crossovers and shit like that. But like by the book, that's how you're supposed to play. Otherwise, it's a carry, whatever. So it got way more interesting when AI
showed it was like, hey, but peep this stuff.
Exactly. So I think it's a similar concept where like you can do all this crazy shit And you know, you're gonna have like the people like I'm gonna say it. Season 2, I think Lotus, you said that was your favorite season.
The very beginning
As
of
a
season
viewer,
2, yeah,
As a
is
casual viewer, like I was even more casual. Like I'm still casual, but I was even more casual back then. As a viewer, just watching Snap Meta was the driest, boringest.
Okay. No, I feel you on that, but I have to say this, right? So the reason why I say season 2 is my favorite, honestly, season 1 has a good argument as well. Not because of necessarily I feel like that was the peak of the game, but just because that's when the game first came out. It was the most hype. We were the biggest game at every event, and that shit was fucking nuts. And I just loved watching every tournament. But in season 2,
still like the biggest Evo Finals viewing, isn't it?
I could not say, but I know that I think
Dragon Ball FighterZ.
It was like
it was the highest viewed for Dragon Ball FighterZ that season.
For Dragon Ball,
it was like 160k or something absolutely absurd.
And that's great.
Of the game.
Like
it's a 5-year-old game now.
Yeah, but all I want to say is that when season 2 first came out, I feel like myself and a lot of other players as well, we were like, yo, the game's just like they really stepped it up another notch, and it felt like it had been refined a lot, and some of the things that we didn't like were improved. And obviously the game was still flawed, and we still don't have rollback to this day, and there was a lot of other things. But at the beginning of season 2, Snap was a mechanic that we were definitely using, but it wasn't as refined as it got later. I always say that season 2 before GT Goku released, because by the time GT Goku comes out, for one, we were on that patch for the entirety of the year, and GT Goku was very obviously the strongest character in the game, and he ended up being on basically every single team, and he was the first character that got introduced where we started to discuss real should this character be banned discourse.
Those were the worst days.
You kind of heard some rumblings about it with Bardock, but that never really went anywhere. But with GT Goku, really heard that, and then obviously Snap was already a thing, but then Universal Fuzzy was introduced, and then
Universal Fuzzy,
which is why I'm so sad Sage isn't here, that we can't ask him what it was like getting triple fuzzied with Z Broly and that.
But Sage and Femrich are also my examples as to why like it was obviously prevalent and it was an issue, but it's not like, oh, these characters are completely unplayable and completely unviable, because Femrich and Sage were winning tournaments and top 8ing at every event despite playing big body characters. You know what I'm saying? And did they get fuzzied? For sure. Did I watch Goichi call GT Goku A assist in neutral and then fuzzy Femrich mid screen? Of course, I saw that happen.
That was hype.
It was kind of hype. I ain't gonna lie though. But
it was a lot more hype. It was a lot more hype because it involved more skill, to be honest.
I mean, I would argue that as well. But
you have to outplay your opponent so that you don't get snap fuzzied, right, over and over again. So you have to see the neutral be played. So you have to see red Nitro.
You could argue that there's more neutral being played now than there was then, because once that started going, like you kind of just didn't get to play anymore. But like I get what you're saying.
Listen, I have a serious bone to pick with the meme of like the neutral was better in season 2, because as Snap Meta developed, the entire name of the game was to play as little neutral as possible.
Well, I feel like that's still the name of the game. I would say that the neutral was better in terms of how it was played, and you could argue that it took more skill back then, but you were playing less of it, because once somebody got their snap shit rolling, then it was just kind of like you're guessing over and over again until a character dies.
The whole idea of the neutral was better was the fact that you ran the risk of only being able to play it once. So you had to actually be careful. Now that we get to play it multiple times, which is the argument here, is that
because as much as people have memed about like the recent patch being compared to Marvel, I feel like season 2 was going to get the closest to Marvel, because there were absolutely games where you just don't get to play. Like you were just stuck in the corner. You just get mixed for like a full 60 seconds and you die.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I was about to say, bro, that's whack, bro.
But what I will say,
because it took more skill, that's like, for a competitive viewer watching a tournament, they're like, oh wow, people who understand fuzzies obviously are going to be like, oh wow, that's so hype that he got out of that situation after getting triple fuzzy, blah blah blah. But for the casual viewer, it's just like, oh, we're just watching DR over and over and over again.
I would argue against that, because as somebody who obviously was restreaming like every single tournament ever, and I still watch a lot of them, right? Like obviously I only have but such a small like sample size in the grand scheme of things, but me and my chat, we were hype as fuck all throughout season 1 and 2, regardless of it. You know what I'm saying? Like
I was definitely dancing in my kitchen.
Yeah, the streams was popping, and like and obviously
for the competitive players.
In a situation like that, people also had the benefit of like me being the streamer and being somebody who is more in tune with it, and it's a little bit more knowledgeable than a lot of my chat. Like I'm able to explain a lot of that stuff as well. Right. So that definitely plays a part. But you know, I obviously, there are some people who are gonna watch that game and be like, I have no clue what the fuck is going on. But I feel like that's that game to this day still.
I
Yeah, for
definitely
sure.
think those situations too, where it was really cool, because yeah, it's like, okay, this is such a really oppressive situation. You're dealing with triple fuzzies, you're dealing with, you know, fuzzies on incoming snap and everything, and then you see the top level players still blocking it out, dealing with it, and I think that was one of the coolest parts. It's like, look how strong this situation is that they've created, and you can get to it if you win that neutral once and really dominate the game, and then you see To Kill Sage dominate Japan for 2 weeks
with
at
a character
Fighting
that they
Tuesday,
didn't think was
with a
good.
character that they think that sucks, and they're like, I'm just gonna fuzzy him, it's gonna be easy, and he makes them all look like clowns because he was able to navigate through that, defend through that, and it even got to a point where Sonic Fox versus Goichi had to develop even further. Goichi had to figure out how to deal with Sonic's specific team to keep him in that position, and he figured it out, right? So like that was really cool because the like the high skill floor and then having that be exemplified was amazing. And then now it's like, okay, you got everything that skips neutral and you play it a lot more now. So, and people got better too. It's like people got better at moving, got better at navigating. And it's just different. It's a different game.
Also,
Yeah,
one thing I just
definitely.
want to know about fuzzies and things in season 2. My biggest bone, because I'd never thought fuzzy was a big deal, that it should have been removed. Obviously, universal fuzzy
same.
should have been removed, right? I think figuring out how to like get rid of that was necessary, but removing the idea of a fuzzy entirely from the game, I thought that was kind of whack. But also with me, as somebody who was like on both sides of, like, obviously I'm very in tune with the competitive side and I'm very much so in tune with the casual side because that's my audience. I felt like the majority of people who complained about fuzzies and was like, oh, I can't play cool or I can't play cell, you niggas weren't getting fuzzied. I'm sorry, y'all weren't playing at the level to where that shit was happening to you. You're not.
I actually want to.
Yeah.
I want to add on to that because like the fact they removed fuzzies and fuzzies is like not even just anime thing. It is like every game. Like we're still fuzzing people in what is it? Street Fighter.
Yeah, and every game.
People are getting fuzzied in
You've
Street
still got
Fighter.
the instant
Like,
jump overhead, right?
that is not something that's just like, oh my god, I can't play big bodies. That's never been a thing. People got fuzzy.
But
for
that's my thing
because fuzzy for years.
Because Dragon Ball FighterZ is Dragon Ball. Obviously, there's a whole new crowd of people who have never played a fighting game or haven't played a fighting game seriously, and so a lot of them first learned what a fuzzy is because of that game. And so in their mind, it's like, oh, this whole new concept. Like they just learned the word, and then it became like the new biggest fear. It's like, oh, I can't play Broly now because I'll get fuzzy. But when in reality, it's like unless you're playing at a very high level, that's almost never going to come up because you're not. In season 2, you're not queuing up for a game of ranked at Living Legend and getting fuzzied. But well, maybe Living Legend was still high back then.
Are you trying to say you wish fuzzies weren't removed?
Yes,
honestly. Like, so
I agree with that.
Again,
hold on.
Again, the universal fuzzy needed to be changed or removed or tweaked somehow.
Yeah,
but removing the concept or the mechanic of a fuzzy in general from the game, I felt like was a bad move.
You think it was a lazy change?
Yes.
So hold on. Again, for that casual audience and slightly myself, maybe describe like I know vaguely what a fuzzy is. Bigger body characters can get like hit by certain shit that other characters can't. But can you explain exactly like what is the definition of a fuzzy? So why is it good in your opinion?
So the theory of a fuzzy,
made other characters not getting played.
Let Nitro
to start with, the theory of a fuzzy is like you're locked in a standing state. So the next move that is hit, it would be an instant overhead if they did like jump jab or something, right? And typically for like, I'd say, how many? Probably more than 15 years. It has been a thing where it's like this tall character has gotten fuzzied because they are tall. That is the weakness of a character with giant limbs, such as Broly. Like he would have giant limbs and zoning, right? So what's the weakness? What's the weakness for Broly? The weakness for Broly is he's gonna have to take more mix-ups now. So in the older games, they would have more health, and more health was like, oh, we need a trade-off for this. You take a bigger mix-up. That would be like the kind of thing that would make it good, you know?
See, that's fair. That's fair against Broly, but that's the perfect example because, like, obviously, fuck Z Broly, but like any other character,
you can fuzzy Frieza,
bad, bro.
You can fuzzy Frieza.
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like fuzzies in general, I felt like we're fine, but the universal fuzzy that was working on everyone, I get.
Are we really
as well?
Wait,
fuzzies
really
in other games? Do they really give you as much reward as you were able to do with Bardock being able to like fucking
they gave more.
like insta launch in the corner.
I mean,
They were giving full combos.
Also,
Like,
Cloud, welcome to the stream, buddy.
yeah, hold on. Let me answer that question for you, Raptor. Look at Street Fighter 6. When JP
Like
hits you
shit.
with a fuzzy, you explode.
You actually
know?
take 50.
percent, bro.
I was thinking earlier Street
and
Fighter.
like back to the
Very
Frieza,
funny dude,
back to the
and
Frieza point. Are we really going to defend a racist character from getting fuzzy?
Talk to him. Talk to him.
Is that what we're doing?
I-
I'm just saying, I personally would not. As a black man myself.
You spin.
Personally, Frieza can get his dome piece cracked.
Like, one of the things that I feel like this patch was trying to accomplish, and obviously it's very, polarizing whether or not they achieved it through how they went about it, but character diversity. I think one thing that they did succeed at, obviously the way they did it is, to be debated, but the character diversity I think is at the best that it's ever been.
I would agree with that.
At this,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I guess we'll have to see how it, performs in a tournament, but I feel like it's at the best that it's ever been. And to bring back the fuzzy thing, wouldn't that just turn people off of characters, and then we're just going backwards?
It would to some degree, but I feel like that's a lot has to do with people being like misinformed. Because again, like the reason why certain characters weren't getting played or like people brought it up is because they thought they were going to get fuzzied if they jumped online, which normally wasn't the case unless you run into hook or some
similar
shit.
to what I was saying earlier too. There's a lot of characters that are now playable. Your favorite team from season 1, season 2, season 3, whatever. Like now you can play those old teams, though. GT, Bardock, Cell, whatever. SJ Vegeta, Bardock, Cell, whatever you want to play, you can play it now because they're actually viable.
And I'm gonna be honest and say the idea of the fact they can't be played because they're getting fuzzied would be literally debunked from 3 years ago, where 2 of the top 3 teams
had a tall character.
Tall characters.
It's season 2 World Finals top 3 was Goichi, Sage, and
se-
Fenrich. Like
Season 1, one of the hardest matches that Goichi has won was with 21 on the opposite side of the team, which is a fuzzy
Wasn't it
character.
21 and so?
yes,
I don't remember this.
Leffen was playing
21
21
Cell,
Cell, and I
and
think
the
Super
person-
Saiyan
The
Vegeta.
person that kept beating Goichi had 16, had Zamasu, all tall characters against Bardock. So that would just debunk anything. You guys are just
Pussy.
I was gonna keep it PG, but yes, you guys.
I'll give you 16,
It's a
but
skill issue.
Zamasu was there just to build meter and die.
It doesn't matter why Zamasu was there.
literally just
He
there
was
to die.
there.
I was just saying, regardless of what he was there for, he was there.
He was
but
there.
it sounds-
I do want to
it
say
really
this.
Sound like a skill issue overall, though. No?
I do want to say this about character diversity, though. I've always understood, and obviously, I'm a fan of diversity as well. No one wants to see the exact same team all the time, right? Granted, there are characters that we all enjoy and like. So for me, it's like if Trunks is on every team, I would fucking love that. That ain't never gonna happen in this game, but I wouldn't be mad at seeing 7 Trunks in top 8.
I want to see Vegeta. Let's go.
However,
my favorite characters, I don't want to see them over and over. Then I'm turned off. I don't even want to play them.
I understand that.
Playing Blue Vegeta, I was like, all right, now I don't want to play him because everyone's
no,
playing
for sure.
I mean,
I feel
to
that.
be
I feel that.
completely honest, that did happen because in like season 3 and season 2, like at least for the casuals, if Vegito or Gogeta got on the screen, the entire chat was hype. Like especially like every time Vegito was on screen in like season 2 and tournaments.
sure,
And now
yeah.
people are just
While using vanilla
they get so
Vegeta,
like you pick Vegito, the viewers get cut in half.
Go ahead, my bad.
Not you. Because everybody was playing Vegito, bro. So that was not.
That is the thing. EU was definitely on the Vegito wave, like long beforehand. I remember Jilla being in Wanted way back then, just doing crackhead stuff with that character, and just being like, "Yo, fuck this nigga Vegito."
The whole Vegito has no mix thing.
Only
Bro,
one thing I
has
had on
no
the
mix.
West
Bro.
Coast was subatomic sabers.
Yo, you know what's crazy about that, by the way? The meme for years about Vegito is like he has no mix because his 2L's not a low. Now his 2L's are fucking low, as if he needed that. But go off, go off. He finally got it 4 years later, as if he fucking needed it. But whatever.
Listen, they mildly nerfed his A assist. They were worried he'd be unviable.
Anyway, I want to touch back on the character diversity thing though, because even though I understood how much the casual audience cares about that, and I understand how much I care about it, I still think that I underestimated just how important that single aspect is to so many people who play and watch the game, because that is one of the reoccurring like subjects or topics or like lines of thought that I've seen in Twitch chats and in YouTube comments, and specifically whenever I bring the game up or talk about it, is people saying, "Oh, but the game is more diverse than ever before." And I'm like, yeah, I get that, and that is a good thing, and that's like one of people's biggest arguments as to why they like the patch or why the patch is good. And I guess for me, I always felt like there are so many more aspects of a fighting game or just games in general that are important to me or like that matter than just how diverse everyone's teams are. Because for one, this is a team game, and like we have a pretty decent roster in this game at this point. But there's always going to be crossover. There's always going to be characters that show up multiple times because that's just the nature of a team game. But also just beyond that, the nature of a fighting game is that whichever characters are the strongest will inevitably get played the most at every level, and especially at the competitive level. And I think that this patch is no different. Go on.
Lotus, would you consider yourself to be a casual or a competitive player?
I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I've kind of looked at myself as the bridge between both since this game came out. Because like, yeah, like, you know, I very much was a casual player coming into this, but this is the first time I ever dedicated myself so much to a game. And like, I've competed, I've done little commentary here and there, and I've created my fair share of content both on Twitch and YouTube. So yeah, I consider myself somewhere in the middle. But that being said, while this patch does have, for sure, I won't argue that at all, the most diversity, at some point, like the quote unquote meta or the top tiers will get figured out. And while I do think that even once the meta does take form, you'll still see more diversity than we have in the past. The inevitability is that like you're still going to see some characters show up multiple times across teams. Like that's just how fighting games are.
I'm about to expose you, bro. I'm sorry, bro, but like, what if they just buffed Trunks and gave him what they gave him, and then they buffed nobody else, but Trunks got what he got? Would you then like this patch?
No, and I also don't even think Trunks would still be top tier.
Here's the thing for me, right? Sorry to cut you off, but they shot themselves in the foot. What was it, 3.5 when they put in special tag and they started giving characters crazy changes? They couldn't go back. That was the point of no return for them. It's like, oh, we did too much. We can't go back. We've already
it's over now.
Right? That was the point of no return. And they had to think, their thought process from then on was we have to make it crazier, bigger, you know.
And boy, did they ever.
Everyone else needs to be equally as crazy.
I think that was a good change. The special tags, I think that was a good addition to the game.
But from there, they had to keep going crazier, though, because they also gave people new specials. Was that the birth of Vegito A and 5M?
I think it
that shit was strong before that.
No.
It reduced a lot of like required team synergy too, where you would be really thoughtful about picking your assists because of the deficiencies characters had at that part of the screen. Right now, it's a universal answer. It's homogenized. Oh yeah, you just special tag after the special move, you get a DR knockdown.
Okay, but that's
to chime in on this real quick.
Have worse specials.
I would say that's my only. I think the mechanic is really cool, but my biggest issue is the characters who were already strong in top tier benefited from it way more than anyone else because the fusions utilize that shit way better than anyone else.
I'm going to be completely
literally better than anybody else.
I don't think it was actually the tag cancel change that was the issue. It was everything else that came with that patch.
That's what I was saying. It was that season where they shot themselves in the foot.
No, I'm saying it sounds like we're saying the tag cancel was the issue. No, I think that was a really good addition to the game. It was
I think we all like the mechanic, but all the other stuff that came in that patch, it's like, we took this game to a point to where we can't go back now with all the other shit that we added.
They didn't balance
getting better.
The special tag around all the characters. They're just like, here's the mechanic, it's cool, and all of a sudden, who would have thought the top tier characters were like, damn, this really is a great mechanic. Thanks, dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That Christmas came early.
And everybody else was like, damn, I wish I could do that. Why do you get a DR?
Must be nice. Nice.
Yeah. It turns out though that all you have to do to make the meta a lot more diverse is just make characters like Gotenks and Beerus top tier because no one wants to play them.
Bro, the character is broken.
It also comes off of popularity too.
Like
how popular characters.
That's true.
Like,
I mean, you can
fact, especially for the casual audience.
There is also like Labcoat, who even at the absolute peak of her power was like trailing at the very bottom of like casual online usage.
And I will say,
nobody actually wants to play this game.
Okay, no, I love Labcoat, right? Despite everything else, I actually think the character's sick. But here's the thing,
I'm not trying to knock it.
No, for sure. I mean, people can shit on Labcoat all they want. Like
you're a loser.
No, I understand all that, but I would like to offer the idea because I actually firmly believe this. The reason why a character like Labcoat, despite being as strong as she was, saw such low play, even at a more casual level, isn't because of anything other than the fact that despite what anybody wants to say, she was hard for like a new player to pick up. She's kind of weird. Her normals aren't the same. Like people think, oh, she's got the easiest rejump, and then they try to do the rejump and they still can't do it. Like I think, because I remember this being a conversation because when Lamlaka was coming out, Nitro said that she's the easiest character in the game. And while I
still stand by that.
Okay, and I understand why you would say that, right? And I think for everyone in this call, we'd probably think that she was dumb easy. She's super easy to pick up. You just do that. You spin to win, and yeah, right. But for somebody who's like brand new to fighting games or like at a lower level, I don't think that's the case. And the situation I brought up, the argument that I made is that if you give two brand new players, UI Goku and Labco, and Labco's way better even still right now than UI Goku, I'd put money on it that the UI Goku player wins more by just slamming buttons than the Labco player does. Because he's a much more accessible and like
what are we talking about? And does this player know how to spin?
That is also true.
Two brand new players,
fresh installs,
two brand new players, and it could be launched Labco, and I still feel like the UI Goku player.
That's by them kind of crazy.
They're beginners.
Because what's gonna happen with that is a nigga's gonna mash triangle, Labco's fight him going whiff, the other nigga's gonna be pushing square with UI Goku. He's gonna go a quarter of the screen with his auto combo, and then that nigga's gonna get yoinked. That's what's gonna happen there.
I think anyone that has ever touched the fighting game before would do better with Labco. Like even if it's only 5 minutes of a different fighting game, would do better with Labco. But someone who's never touched the fighting game, period, would do better with UI.
No, I think there is actually some credence to what Lotus is saying, considering there are still a lot of like casual players and new players who come into the game who genuinely believe UI is still like top 3, literally just
because when you're just mashing around, that character still feels oppressive.
I think another point where
I see it every week.
I would say I think another point we're also missing is she's not actually from the series, and as a Dragon Ball fan, why would you?
That is also I think important.
I don't think that's
OC is so strong. My OC can do this. Like they really just took their OC and made it much stronger than
they Mary sued her into the video game.
As they should. Don't everybody didn't Daisuke do the same shit in Guilty Gear? Ain't Ken doing the same shit in Street Fighter? Like
that's his game. That's not even a thing. That's not even a thing.
So here's the thing. So for the general audience, when it regards to Labco, sorry to cut you off, Inzem, but for example, in real life, you meet another person who likes anime, Dragon Ball, whatever. I got a tattoo the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, so I do this," and we were talking. It was like an 8-hour session.
Tell us that he got a tattoo.
Hey, it's actually pretty
kind of inky for real.
But no, the point.
The most long-winded way.
The point is, I brought up Dragon Ball FighterZ, and I was like, "Yeah, everybody loves like the androids and everything," and I'm like. Yeah, and I brought up 21. He's like, "Who the fuck is 21?" And I was like, "Oh." And I showed him. And
that's how it is, though.
Yeah, and he was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool. Like, where is she in anything else?" And I was like, "No, just a picture of her in the superhero movie."
Yeah, I was gonna say she just got like official. With that movie,
it's a much higher chance somebody's gonna boot up their favorite fusion or UI Goku and have fun. And that's
for sure. It is no coincidence
across every single Dragon Ball.
It is no coincidence the fusions ended up being as strong as they are. I understood that from the beginning. The fusions are good in every game, in every Dragon Ball game, and they're super popular. You know what I'm saying?
You could have named me one Dragon Ball game where they are.
And it's the same shit with UI Goku. Like UI Goku was such a big moneymaker. They were like, "Oh, this character gotta be broken when we drop him." My fault. Go on, Dion.
Nah, they did him dirt though.
I said go on, Dion, and these niggas started talking. Alright.
Let me just say, I think I speak for every UI player, dude. Where even at his peak, dude.
He was never the best, bro.
Yeah,
the best. He was never the best.
I still remember watching a Sage stream where he was trying to break this down for casuals, and everyone was just like, "You are lying." He's like, he's the worst fighting game character of all time.
I was in that chat cheering for Sage.
I mean, EU thought he was the best
because EU has Gila.
Yeah, yeah.
Japan thought it was the best too.
Yeah.
You had Goichi and Fenrich.
Wawa, Yasa, Jill, they always saying UI was the best.
Of course there was. Their overall brain power is room temperature.
I think
he still did actually have flaws, whereas most top tiers that started coming afterwards, even if they were small, like most top tiers that started coming afterwards, basically did not have any, period.
Also, here's my thing, right? KJ Pixel brings up a good point in the chat, and this is obviously important to remember, is that at that time, like, we were basically exclusively stuck online. And while I do feel like the character absolutely would have been easier to deal with offline than online, the fact of the matter is that we were online. And the other fact of the matter is that every single player who won the online regional had that nigga on his team. Every single one.
That was actually kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Because more people didn't want to play Gotenks.
I will say this though, I do think even though you can make arguments that he wasn't the strongest, I'm just gonna give him the strongest only because I feel like the way he was strong was kind of the quote unquote issue a lot of these newer characters have. He was doing it before they could do it. Just the ultra ignorance into like I'm going to do anything I want until you can't punish me, until you're going to explode if you accidentally mess up. Like he was one of the first to start doing.
He was a
that.
pioneer of like, hey, I have all these defensive options that, and I'm just like, I'm just not going to block no matter what, and you can knock me down no matter how much you try. I'm going to do something on wake up.
You know what's funny, because when it was Wade versus tournaments, bro, they all just fucking did delay wake up 4 frames. That's literally all he did. And we hated the game.
Honestly,
I miss the old 2 on 4H tracking. I miss the old EX tracking because that shit was just funny. No, it was so funny.
It was so lit.
You gotta remember, like at the end of the day, like Japan, France, all of us, right? We all have different tier lists. It's always been that way since season 1. Since the game came out, we've always had differences of opinions. We always thought like this character is good. Like for example, France praises Kefla when she was quote unquote the best, but we always like, nah, she's not that good. Like she's okay.
Or the character's brain temperature, IQ.
It doesn't even matter about the IQ at that point. It's just that we always had our differences. No matter what season it was, we always saw the game differently. Because we play the game different. We have different level of competition.
I've always found it very interesting how every region like
only
values
one
different
way
shit.
from when he fought Sage. It was so funny seeing Goichi's tier list change from when he fought Sage because it was just Z Broly moving up the rank.
Hey, I remember Kazunoko had that nigga Trunks top 5 because Moke was that nice. Like I was like, nah, son. Trunks is not that good. Moke's not that good.
Like top 3.
Your true downfall was when Sonic and Goichi co-signed Trunks being top tier. That was the beginning
and
of
that
your
shit
downfall,
was
too.
so cap, bro. It was so cap. It was so cap. And then as every patch happens, I'm always like, yeah, y'all niggas gonna play this character, pick him up. See that 1, he's harder than a lot of other characters in this game. 2, he's not actually that nice, and y'all gonna drop him in a week. And what happened every time without fail? Exactly that.
He's been theoretically top tier.
And he's been literally in the trash can and on no one's team since season 1.
Like they've been like treading lightly with like who they wanted to buff and like whether, you know, they were really just paying attention the delicate balance of the game. But these last couple of patches, especially this last one,
Fuck it, bro.
Just like, yeah, it was just like, all right, we're gonna give everyone crazy stuff.
Dude, they smoked a badass blunt and just threw darts at a wall.
Because the kill stage isn't here, I'm just gonna speak for him and tell him what he told me, and it made so much sense. I was complaining about the game, hating it, until he made the most sense. He said, this character got this change because he can have fun. You had your fun with fusions, now they get to have their fun. Everyone gets to have fun.
True, Z.
And
So
when I really thought about it, and what is everyone's general idea about this patch? It's not that good competitively.
Yeah, I would also think like that if I was a
we're all having fun.
But continue.
You know, you said yesterday in your stream you were having fun too.
No,
so
I said it fun casually.
He said he was in the box.
Yes, but it's competitively it's not that good, but at least it's pretty fun.
It's fun casually though.
The one thing about this game now is
outside looking in.
Oh, go on.
From the outside looking in, I feel like the development, like, because from what I've heard, correct me if I'm wrong, like Arxis did the balance early on, but I heard that it's actually Bandai who's doing the balancing now.
Yeah, the team got.
I was gonna try to
only bring that
it
up
was
to say.
for the first 2
seasons.
seasons.
I'll be quick. I only bring that up to say is I feel like historically with Dragon Ball, like this is the first competitive Dragon Ball game ever, really, like with, you know, competitive scenes. It's at Evo and stuff like that. So I bring that up to say it almost feels like the balancing team or the development team is looking at this where they're trying to like walk the tightrope of like, okay, we want it to be competitive because it's supposed to be a competitive game, but at the same time, like this is a Dragon Ball game and every Dragon Ball game is just like crazy. You know, we want to like appeal to that audience as well. So I feel like that's why on both sides, like there's some people who are extremely casual who are like, even now they're like, oh, this game is like too much. It's too complicated. And then you have people on the other side of the spectrum who are like mad competitive, who are like, oh, this game is like, you know, Mickey or whatever. You know what I mean? Because they're trying to like walk that tightrope, but you can't like please everyone type of thing.
Yes,
they're trying to make their money, truthfully, like from the casual standpoint.
I want to hear.
I mean, they've already made their money.
Yeah, they've
already made their money.
Cool to hang out with you guys. Cool to talk with you guys. But I got to bounce right now.
Easy, man.
On the stream.
Not for sure.
I'll miss you.
The one buff that Hit deserved, and I'm just gonna leave on this. The one buff that Hit deserved that he didn't get is I just wish his counter had a little bit of invincibility when he reappears. Because if I counter against Labcoat 21 doing the spin and I appear on the other side and I'm still getting hit by the spin that pisses me off. I should be able to
I can't
actually
kick
counter
him.
it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Goodbye.
No.
Jake, you had something that you were about to say that I wanted to hear you finish that thought.
Yeah, it was about the balance adjustments, right? So Arc System was in charge. I believe it was for the first 2 seasons, and then when we
season
got to
1 and
season
like
3,
partway
that's
through
when
season
Bandai
2.
took. Yeah, and that's when Bandai got the reins. So they had been making the exclusive decisions on balance, character implementations, and everything there. So Arc System hasn't had their hands in the jar for a very long time, and that's where the game has really taken a shift and like started to develop. And that's where you started seeing the conversations happen, too, where people like started stepping away from the game. Maybe they didn't like what it was.
Game I
love.
love.
Picture of the game that they liked.
Wait, around what time, Jake?
Yeah, exactly. What happened to my?
Around what time, Jake?
What happened to my Kid Buu? What happened to the game I love? Around what time? The end of season 2, or like mid season 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where's my cross-up ball?
Yeah, just bring cross-up ball back and leave the rest of the character alone.
You know, I'm surprised Arc System took away cross-up ball like by themselves.
I mean, it was. I feel like it was genuinely just so fucking confusing for everyone looking in. Just like, why did he get in here?
Remember the days where the biggest and like free neutral tool was Bardock Lariat to know like the
Man,
best thing.
and now that Lariat kind of sucks.
Dude, we didn't know what we had.
We really didn't know what we had.
We didn't know what we had back then.
Remember,
it was also a situation of in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, because nobody had like the neutral tools on the same level. So when there's only the one character, obviously it feels like so oppressive.
Right, and at the time, like other characters had a similar-ish move because like Blue Vegeta's been here, Team Gohan's been here, Blue Goku's been here, but Bardock's was significally stronger in comparison. But because the game was so different back then, yeah, it made a huge difference.
I mean, I'll say that.
It was also -1 on block.
Yeah. I think it was fine for the most part for one character to be like that, right? It's cool. One character has that. It makes them special. But then once they started giving it to everybody,
well, if everyone's super,
like,
then no one will be.
Then no one's super.
Yeah.
They say it's everybody's a genius. Then you're
You know,
just normal.
It's interesting you brought up that Bardock point, right? Because like the fact that they gave him back his Lariat, a lot of people that looking at the game now like, oh my god, like I miss Bardock. They removed this from the game and he has it again. And that 3 people are like, oh my god, I can play the game again. So that's also a factor.
Dude, Bardock's gonna be on every team at Evo now.
That's the funny part is that he absolutely will not.
So the teams at Evo are going to be the characters with the most invincible options, dude. Calling it now.
GT Goku, let's be real.
Wait, I think he's top 1, but that's just me.
I'm gonna keep it a stack with you, Cloud. I played against GT yesterday, bro. The monitor almost got deleted.
I'm telling you, that's hard to the discussion.
Hey, but the game fun though, right? You know what I'm saying, man?
I'm having fun.
I've never had less fun.
I'm having so much fun.
GT.
3 reverse Kamehamehas. It's an 11 frame Vegito 5M with invincibility. Dude, that shit is great. Oh my god.
It's so silly. Also, real quick, I just want to say, you guys remember when the entire game was supposed to be bounced around adult Gohan, Goku Black, and Super Saiyan Goku? You remember that?
That would have been a good game. That would have been a good game.
Golden standard, right?
Remember that was supposed to be the standard for all the characters, that they were trying to bring everyone like up or down to that level. Which mind you,
changed when Bardock came out, and then it changed again because of Vegito.
Mind you, at the time that they said that, adult Gohan was way stronger than them other niggas in that group. But I digress.
Yeah, they were a lot better. I might hit EX.
Even 16 was.
Yeah, 16.
Like,
Him and 16 and what Gohan were like top 2 just because untechable.
It was like it was
infinite lock strings for as long as you
50-50 off everything.
Shit, it was worse than a 50-50. This nigga's 16 with command grab, you mid screen, get hard knockdown, and get like high, low, left, right. Plus command grab, plus Dragon Rush, plus Super Dash, plus like.
Remember,
he really grabbed you and said, "Try again."
Yeah, and 5H changed everything. Remember?
Yeah, 5H was just go straight through beams and shit. Man, season 1 of DBFZ was some crazy shit. It was hyped
and cancel was bad.
Dude, yeah.
I feel like season 1 is also remembered fondly because we had no bloody clue what we were doing.
What's another thing too? Like if we still had like the season 1 version of the game now, or season 2, is like the shit we'd be doing to each other would be so fucked up.
People have gone back. Like,
yeah, you know
it's why when you watch the people who go back to the vanilla version.
Well, I mean, 18 sucked back then, bro.
Yeah. But that's the thing with
Dragon.
That's where developers have trouble with balancing issues, right? Like they look at what's strong, especially in Arx's case, and we're like, how could we
That's
make
bumping.
it better? And then they just they're supposed to turn left, and then they run the red light and go straight.
100%.
But it's interesting how we
I
define
still
what's
remember
strong.
the season 1.
Oh,
Honestly,
Yeah, it is. I remember because
the define what's strong. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
mixed.
Yeah, I remember at Cloud's event, you know, talking about like season 1. He had the setup with season 1, and he ran a little bracket for it. And we get to the finals, and it's me versus Pred, and he remembered every single like adult Gohan bullshit broken fuzzy.
Oh,
and
you're
I
a
was like,
loser,
wow.
Pred. What?
You lost first round. You suck.
Yeah. I won the tournament.
You lost first round.
But like the thing was, it's like now that we had the knowledge, it was like, damn, this was kind of messed up. And like there was stuff that was just really, really bad, and it was like, wow, Beerus can't do supers in these situations. This is just
I
sad.
remember that.
And then like other characters were on the other spectrum.
And let's not think about the fact that there were like 3 viable assists in the entire cast.
Yeah, they were all beams.
Yeah,
No, that's
beams.
true. We had
Super
16
Saiyan
assists,
Vegeta.
Kid Buu assists. What?
Nah,
Yes, it is system
there
wide.
was a bunch of y'all that actually tried to tell me Kid Buu assist was bad because you couldn't use in fucking neutral, like it wasn't the greatest mix-up assist in the goddamn game. I ain't never gonna let that shit go.
Who told you that?
I mean,
Every Kid Buu down player ever, they're like, oh, you can't combo with it and you can't use it in neutral, bro. It's not that good.
The only thing I didn't like
That was
it
before my
was
time.
you could throw it out in neutral back then because DP assists. All right, that was a fucking French kiss, dude. When you want DP
DP plus
assists,
assist was a very
trauma.
cursed era. I ain't
You've
gonna lie.
awoken the trauma.
y'all forgot about DP
Yeah, I got
assists.
Oh no, I never forgot. I will never forget
The good old
Kazunoko doing
days.
that shit to people on every fucking knockdown. No, that will never be erased from my brain ever. DP plus Yamcha assist, I'll never forget that.
That
and, like-
clip alone was more than enough to make that change like forever. Even if nobody else was ever using DP assist, just because Kazunoko did that shit was gone the
Bro,
next patch.
DP
I'm gonna
assist,
be honest,
and then
though.
DP into Spark into another DP. This is the funniest shit ever.
Like if we ever look back at like the games Kazunoko played back then, and like what he was doing in Dragon Ball, he just played he just
Same way.
played Dragon
Yeah.
Ball the exact same way as you play the other
same way he
games.
plays Guilty
Thomas,
Gear
bro.
and fucking
Yeah.
Street Fighter.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
He beat Daigo at Street Fighter 4 with just dive kick.
That's so
Like,
funny.
he's
My man
actually the
Yon-
goat.
My man Yon with full screen EX lunge punch +1 hype.
Capcom Cup champion.
That's not hype.
Capcom champion. He's the GOAT. He's the
That's
GOAT.
why he's the GOAT.
That's why.
I mean, he did gatekeep how many Dragon Balls?
He got 4 of them in
Four?
season
Yeah,
1.
four.
He got
The
four.
best,
He-
the
he-
best
he-
LCQ
he-
in history.
He
I
had
cannot
it.
believe it.
He had
Terrible.
Changed the rules because of him.
Yeah.
That was next level dominant. He made Tachikawa cry, bro.
He's one of the most influential Dragon Ball players if you think about it.
No, absolutely,
DP assist,
100%.
Dragon, like
Dude.
the Dragon Ball collection.
Without him, we would have never gotten Apology Man losing to Aqua 4 times in a row.
Damn.
That-
Bane.
yo,
What? Why would we
Kazunoko's
want that?
greatest hits,
Bro,
featuring Apology
the
Man?
season
Well,
1
we-
LCQs were truly something special. You really had to
Nah,
do that, bro.
run it back, bro.
Also,
You did not
fucking
want that ran back, bro.
Nakil fucking
Right.
cooking and then losing to like Bumba Bum
No,
Raw
no,
level
Fred's
3.
right. No more participation trophies, dude.
You're kind of spitting. You know
run
what?
that
Let him
back.
cook. I'm not
You-
gonna be involved in it.
You
So
win
let
the
him cook.
event, dude, or good luck at the LCQ.
Nah, I was there for the season 1 LCQ. That shit was fun.
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
washed.
Yeah, I remember.
Bro, I actually beat Moken and I dropped level 1, level 3 on Yamcha. And then he like
So you lost.
yes. But he I saw his soul leave his body, and then he just jumped up when I dropped my level 3 and he killed it.
Goodness, Fred, you're
Yeah.
choking, bro.
Yeah, bro.
All right, so hold on. I want to ask everyone in the call, and we'll go down the list. Do you see yourself continuing to play the game for any significant amount of time? Like whether that's
I'm so glad you asked, because in 100 subs.
anyway. So I'm gonna go down the line. Cloud, do you see yourself continuing to play the game for a while?
I'll give you 2 answers for that, right? The first answer is going to be the competitive aspect. Not so much the competitive aspect, right? As you all have noticed, taking a seat back, right? Because traveling's super expensive and the netcode sucks. But content creation side, yeah, dude, I've been popping off lately with like all the new changes, man.
For sure, for
Now,
sure.
speed of content creation. The boss battle's ready.
I'm done.
Ooh,
But yeah, so when it comes to
Fred?
like to give you like the final answer for it is like Dragon Ball's never been in a better place for content creation, right? Everybody's characters is sick nasty, you know, like there's like I want to play Marvel, mom. We have Marvel at home. That's basically what Dragon Ball is now. There's a bunch of crazy shit in the game. Everyone's having a good time, except the Yamcha players. But who cares about them?
You don't think Yamcha's in a good spot?
No, he's not.
Shut up, Zane. Yamcha's chilling.
I mean, I don't think he's like top tier or anything like that. You think he still needs significantly more help? Because I think there was a couple of characters that might be.
They didn't bring back all the ex Wolfang Fist, dude.
They need to fix
That's all I gotta say.
do everything they've ever taken from him just to have him be viable.
All right, what about yourself, Daniel? I have a feeling that you're still going to be playing the game.
I think right now it's definitely worth continuing playing the game in terms like what Cloud was saying for content. I think the game is the best it's ever been for content current. I mean, since like the first year for sure. But I think currently, if you want to play this game for content, for fun, I think it's the best time to do it. Even as I said earlier, like competitively is not the greatest. I think I'll still travel for the game. Just for the simple fact that, like I said earlier as well, there's more people playing the game at a casual level. So there's more people popping out to tournaments because of that. So I think it is still overall a fun game. So yeah, I'll continue playing.
What about yourself, Inzem? I know we've exchanged a lot of words about this game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Between each other.
He said for sure.
I'm still kind of on the same type of timing where, like, competitively, I do still want to play for the World Tour. So for however long that lasts, or my attempt to get there at this point. But if not, then kind of no. For me at least, it's still also unfortunate that I feel like a lot of players also share the same sentiment of like not really wanting to continue competitively. And as a competitive player, that also kills my vibe a lot, because if I don't want to fight the players that, in my opinion, are like extremely challenging, or like the players that I wanted to beat, right? It's just not as fun anymore. But casually, yeah, the game is extremely fun, or as much as it's gonna be. I'll say that.
Got you.
As much as it's gonna be.
Jake, are you back yet?
Yeah, I'm here.
Right.
I would say like the last season for Dragon Ball was it was really fun for me because I got to see like how far I could push myself competitively. It's like only like in tournament, really only losing to the three strongest New Yorkers in the call right here.
Let them boys know that's top 8
Dude,
Jake right there. Talk to him. Strongest commentator out there. Let him know.
I always said it about JT. I was like, he made a lot of improvements.
Did I just get called a New Yorker?
No, sorry, Inzem. You're East Coast. My bad.
Everyone on the East Coast is just in New York. That's all.
Everyone on the East Coast is New York now.
Everybody, like so many mad niggas, and I don't. Maybe it's the way I talk or something. I don't think I sound like I'm from there, but so many people assume I'm from New York as well. I don't know if it's just because I associate with you niggas, or if it's something about the way I talk or what. But that's where everyone assumes
or it's because you're black. Could be that.
Hey, yo.
I was like a.
I'm just saying.
I was like a 9.
I'm just saying.
Anywho, Jake, continue.
Yeah. But like that was what was super cool, and it totes back to Inzem's point where it's like if the strongest players aren't competing, it really takes away that drive. And
For sure.
I've really like just from being completely transparent, I love Street Fighter, and 6 has been like super fun for me. It's clicked, it plays fast, it can play slow, and I just love it. And I've been commentating more of it and playing with it. I still think that like once Rollback comes back, I want to give it another try, but I cannot play online. I literally like cannot make myself do it after I've had good netcode where I can play everybody in the United States with Street Fighter. It just doesn't feel good. Offline,
I can't imagine you're alone in that sentiment.
Yeah, like offline, I'll still go. Like my boy Justin down the street is hosting locals, the Hyperbolic Justin Chamber, so that SoCal can still get practice.
Can I think of a better name?
Nah, that's
I got robbed from the Mario Party match.
And like as a commentator, it's like for spectators it's great. I get to make these moments exciting and see like how far people can go, because for the first time in a long time I have questions about what's going on the screen. I'm like, how long does this combo go? What is the mix-up coming from here? Why is Nappa whiffing 2H 4 times in a combo? Like everything it's like exciting, and you can bring that excitement to the viewer, and it makes my job easier, I would say. But it's discouraging seeing like all my friends either go on to a different game or just stop competing altogether. So
first time,
Jake, do you think this gives birth to new?
First time is crazy.
For Jake, do you think that this will give birth to new players overall, new players that might be better than our current best players?
I would say it's all subjective because if you drop those new players who are better at this patch and do a previous patch, it's like you can't compare it. Like if I'm looking at like Nitro performing last season versus like we'll just call him Wheat Goku 69 420. Like
I know that guy.
Nah, I
exactly.
already booked it, bro. Evo 2024 grand final is gonna be Hikari versus Garlic Bread. That's already what it is, man.
Oh, Garlic's
So
that's
hype.
That
That's
kid's
hype.
the future, bro. He's so
Yeah, that's
good.
hype.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
this patch was made for him.
yeah, but also like I think to touch on that.
question.
Oh, you can go first, Raptr.
All right. Well, I was just going to say the question of like, do you think new players are going to end up anywhere near the like skill level of the ones that we've been seeing? I think honestly, the brutal truth is probably not, because look at the online environment they have to play in currently.
Yeah.
Right. I do want to. I definitely.
I would honestly think.
I definitely want to talk about
yeah.
the rollback, because that's something that we all have input on and something that we wanted.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the follow up once I can finish coming down the line and hearing what everyone wants to say about whether they're going to continue playing or not. But you have something you want to chime in with real quick, Loud?
I was gonna say, just to interject, right? Like we have a living, breathing statistic of old players leaving and then new players being birthed, right? Or like the players who are now placing higher because the old players are gone. Look at Marvel 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the old guards stopped playing, you know, like me, Justin, F Champ, right? Like Chris
Ryan
G, like
LV.
right. We all stopped playing, and those other guys,
Liberal Terminator.
Yeah, right. Liberal Terminator pulled up, right? You have like Jabril winning everything, right? One Evo, congrats to them, right? But like,
shouts out Jabril.
The question, well, the people always hanging over their head, like, yeah, well,
You'll never be as good as them.
Exactly.
That's
right?
a whole other conversation I want to have about new players versus old players and like the skill difference between them. And that's something else I think that we can follow up with in this conversation, because I think it is an interesting one. I think it's one that like the viewers would really enjoy as well, as like our Nitro and Pred as good as fucking Sage and Sonic were back in season 1. We'll talk about that in a bit. I think that'll be a fun discussion. But that being said,
mollywopped him 3 years ago.
Anyway, that being said, Pred, do you see yourself continuing to play the game?
I think I'm gonna play for fun. I think I'll go to tournaments that are like around, like locally. I'll go to one, and I think I'll probably travel to the one event, but not really for Dragon Ball.
Fuck doesn't even go to his own local.
Yeah, this is true because I don't like Dragon Ball right now, but I like Gohan. So like right now, I'll see if I'll play the game. But I think right now I might move on to Street Fighter.
I got you. And what about yourself, Nitro?
I play Strive.
For sure. Congratulations, by the way. You
thank you.
You won Dragon Ball as well, but you won Strive at Summer Jam. Good shit.
Thank you.
And yourself, Raptor, I presume especially for you, it's very dependent on this whole rollback situation.
First things first. I'm fucking Australian, so competing wise, like to put into context as well. When I went to Worlds, like however many years into the game's life, that was my first time playing international players.
Right.
Because it's fucking impossible to get out of this country.
Like 5 sets.
Or play, yeah, and it was, man, because it was like, hey, don't worry, we're getting rollback, right? Don't worry, I'll play everyone then. I'll play everyone then. But
I was sitting here like, Raptor, this is your only chance.
Damn. But I mean, it'd be like
listen, man, there were a couple people at that event that I had to play. Like, Acoustics called me the YouTuber, so I had to go and level 7 each of his characters individually.
Oh, my.
That's the other one things were like,
listen, man,
bro, no,
it had to be
niggas be quick to throw out that YouTuber word, and then you have to humble people real quick, because I done had that shit happen. I'm not even that, no, because like I'm not that nice, but because I'm a YouTuber, niggas would think shit was sweet, and so I'd have had niggas like try to be like, oh, he not that nice, he's just a YouTuber, and like I'm not that nice, but I'm better than you, nigga. Like I pull up. I'm just saying I had to do that a couple of times.
Respect your.
It's one of those things though, right? Notice where people see you and they look at you because they're a content creator initially, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
But they don't know that you actually, I'm out here. I can play this game for real. But a lot of the times they don't respect players like you or even commentators for that matter.
Yeah, I would get that shit.
Bro, Jake is out here making top 8s and niggas still have the audacity like, Jake Ryan.
You would be in my chat disrespecting Jake.
Like Jake will whoop your ass. What are you talking about?
It's wild because they would always be talking shit in chat, and it's like, I have a Shenron list, and most of your favorite players are on it, right? Like,
I avoided it for 3 years. I'll keep avoiding it.
No. I want to be real for a second, right? Like Jake, for example, when the whole player tier list I was making, when I was trying to put you at the top, he was like, "Nah, he's just a commentator. He's not really good." I was like, "Yo, have you seen his performances? He's beating some of your favorite players. He's top 8, multiple majors, multiple tournaments in a row. How can you discredit him?" He's like, "Oh, but he's just a commentator." I was like, "No, just because you're a commentator doesn't mean that you can't play the game." Saint is just corny to me when people say that.
I was offending you like you were Jesus said I was the church.
It's too corny to this. I
sure.
really don't like that when people discredit players because they're a commentator or a content creator or YouTuber. That's corny.
It's stupid.
I'm sure there's a whole bunch of times where someone sits down next to Jake to play and be like, "Oh, I saw this bloke at the desk like 20 minutes ago. This will be free. This will be free."
Then they get fucking bodied.
And then
then they got idle comboed from 3/4 of the stream away. I'm like, oh well, out the tournament.
All right. But what about yourself?
But sorry, back on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry,
I thought,
back on topic. Yeah, no, it was just like I absolutely do want to continue playing because honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like morbidly curious how this game's gonna turn out competitively, and I want to be there for it, and I want to try and do whatever I can because it's like, man. Like they remove the regional placings as well for Worlds, so it's like
they don't like you.
Just to qualify, I would be spending more on flights.
Yeah, move idiot.
Then I would be winning from like grand finals. If I come through and I just win the whole thing, I would not even be breaking even that it would cost the flights to get there just to qualify.
Yeah, that's
so it's I do want to keep like playing this game. I love the shit out of this game, but it's like I live in Australia.
Feel you.
And there's no rollback, so
feels Jace, man.
That's Space Australia. It's fucking different. Anyway,
Seyhan,
Space Broncos.
What about yourself, Seyhan? Do you see yourself continuing to play the game? And I know that like I've heard a decent amount, not from like directly, but seeing like you and OB talk or like be in Twitch chats or like see you guys play and again, like the sentiment continues like competitively. I don't know, but casually, do you see yourself continue to still play the game at all?
So competitively, I can say UFA is gonna be my last tournament for the foreseeable future, and it's honestly not necessarily due to the patch. It's more because I have zero motivation to lab the game because I can't play the game. Every time when I hop onto an online match, doesn't matter if I'm fighting against a top player who is only 30 minutes away from me, it's always laggy, and that kills my vibe with the game. So therefore, I don't have the motivation to play.
I want to ask this like as the follow for everybody, but since that's your reasoning, I want to ask you specifically right here. Then, so if let's say Rollback were to come out next week, would that change it for you? Would that increase your motivation and be like, yeah, I'm gonna keep grinding this game, and I'm gonna keep playing it?
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%. Yes.
Sure. Okay.
I have an offline scene, so it wouldn't really.
But that's the difference between obviously like like all the Americans in the call versus like Raptr or like Seyhan or like even Wade to
not even Americans, New Yorkers. That is more.
I'm just saying from my point of view, it's like
I feel you, but
on whether or not it would change anything, it wouldn't change anything because like I just be like, "Hey, Posey, you want to go play?" And then he'd be like,
"Right,
yeah, Buzzin', I'd love to go play. Bring the demons to the house."
Absolutely, my heart.
Yep.
We can play as much as you want, Nitro.
Exactly. But yeah, that's the truth, though, Nitro. Like we're just privileged. Being
no,
in
yeah, for sure.
We're all like
I agree.
15 minutes away from each other. Like, yo, Nitro, what you doing today? You want to play? Yeah, sure, whatever.
My local scene is an 8-hour drive away.
Like, Daniel be on his hands and knees. He'd be like, "Please come over, bro. I need content."
Like talking about the local scene too. It's like, yes, everybody in New York is like 15 minutes away from each other, and it's wonderful. We've had an issue in SoCal where it's like we're so spread out, and even though we have like a good chunk of players that play online, we've got
California big as fuck for no reason.
California is big as hell, and it's like. It's always asking for the locals. It's like I try to host them, get them put together and everything, and then it's like 8 people will show up or like 11 people will show up because everything's so far, and it becomes it's discouraging at a point. So it's
SoCal is so mixed up at this point that like from like me to Jake's it's like 25 minutes for me, but then for someone like Garlic it's like 2 hours.
Jeez.
So even though we're all
car?
by car. So that way for all even though we're all in SoCal, they're like a language is even further. So from Garlic, so like if we were going like to Lake for instance, Garlic would be driving like 3 hours.
Jeez.
Or if you're very lucky like Varia, who can't get on the train very well, can't get any luck with public transportation, it takes them even longer than that.
That's
So it's kind of
fucking
it's not exactly, even though we're all technically in the same area, and so with us being in SoCal, it's the local scene is very, very spread out.
All right.
Yeah, that definitely sucks.
What about yourself, Wade? Do you see yourself continuing to grind the game?
I'm gonna say yes because I'm a crackhead and I love that game way too much. So I play it.
So there's a couple of things I want to ask you and Seyhan specifically, because I feel like you guys have interesting perspectives with being in Europe, and obviously Raptr has one as well, being in Australia. But
you're French.
Well, yeah, but I just say, like, obviously, like, I interact and speak a lot more with the American players than I do with obviously the French guys, or I believe Seyhan, you're from Germany, if I remember correct, right? And so we'll get to that in just a moment. But before I do, that's fine. Say, yeah, I'm a crackhead, so I'm gonna keep playing. And what about yourself, Zane?
At the moment, the plan is probably similar to many others. I'll keep playing it somewhat, but the plan is probably to go find a different game to be my main game, and then I'll just enter Dragon Ball kind of as a secondary, whichever tournament I enter. I got you. Okay, so then my follow-up to all of this is, and we kind of already touched on it a bit, so I already know some of your answers, but I just want to go down the line and just get a yes or a no. If rollback is implemented anytime soon, or even just at all at this point, does that increase your motivation to play the game, Cloud?
Yes.
No, he said Cloud.
He did. Cloud?
He's on,
okay, I'm not
bugging,
right? I'm like, did I hear different names?
Did Cloud die?
Nah.
Cloud's on the bathroom break.
Oh, maybe.
He's in the bathroom. He's on the pot.
Well, whatever.
He always is. It's Cloud.
We'll come back to him. Daniel?
Yeah, it'll increase my motivation, but at the same time, it's kind of like we were saying right before this. If I want to play the best players, I can be like, "Yo, Nitro, pull up."
Like,
So
they're literally a phone
biased.
call away. Like, "Hey, nigga, pull up."
Yeah, but I guess for like people that I want to play that are, I guess, West Coast or even in other countries, yeah, it'll be fun to play them. Like, I want to play Wade and casuals for vibes. Yeah, that'll be nice.
I agree with that.
I don't like you, bro.
Damn.
Honestly.
What is happening?
My fault. You just got shot. That's all. Bro, just set your ass to the next dimension.
Wait, I would expose you right now. Don't do this.
What is
I
that
think we
mean?
all have dirt on each other. I don't know if you really.
What do y'all mean by that?
Never mind, JK. Where do you my bestie?
Anyway, what about you, Inzem? Would rollback change like your perspective, or like make you want to grind the game a lot more, or have you more motivated to keep playing?
Yeah, because I can start harassing Zane and like wait for games, and they won't be able to say no.
That's OD.
That's
OD.
What about yourself, Jake?
I think I'm in the same position, right? Because like right now with the netcode, it is a 50-50 chance that I can play Zane and it's a playable connection. And we live 20 minutes away from each other.
Yeah,
That's
so rough.
That shit's unacceptable.
That is so funny.
All right. I mean, my problem when I'm into Zane is, Zane, have you?
You're not gonna come late and then interrupt the conversation. Shut up.
You eating at that nigga, smacking them lips, boy.
Have you updated your PC?
Cloud is no longer allowed to complain about my PC, and Sage is no longer allowed to destroy it. I got a brand new one that just came out last night.
Wait, does that mean he can destroy it? Wait, can he just destroy the old one now?
It's technically just sitting behind me doing nothing right now.
Oh yeah, hand it over at Evo.
Sage probably already has dibs after the 30 or 40 or 50 times he's mentioned the idea of taking a hammer to it. So
respectfully,
continue, Cloud, and then I'll finish my point.
Well, I don't even know what this question at hand was. I
hate you.
It was just
Yeah.
what rollback motivate you more to keep playing.
Here, I just came back. I'm gonna go grab an Oreo.
A singular Oreo?
Oh, yeah, because I'll actually be able to play. Yes.
What kind? Is it the yellow one or the black?
It's double stuffed. But yeah, rollback would be as sweet as a double stuffed Oreo, right? Because I'd be able to play people without worrying about connection if they handle it correctly.
Fair enough.
Which is very
scary if. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's very if.
I think that for the competitive scene, if they release rollback and it's bad, it's over, bro.
It's over. It's Jover, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Yo, it's Jover, bros.
Yeah, honestly, if it's good,
That would be the final nail in the coffin, to be honest.
Yeah, if it's good, it's like, dang, I can play everybody on the East Coast. I can play people in Texas, like that's
Japan.
You can actually play the video game. It's fucking crazy what happens when you can, right?
Because I can't It doesn't feel good to play online, especially with the new patch where it's like everybody's got a 4-frame reversal.
Yeah.
Let's deal with this,
Nah,
and there's a
how am I
4-frame delay. Everything's invincible, baby.
It's already hard enough to meaty somebody as it is offline. Now you got to do it online.
I want to scream eternally, dude, when it's just bouncing between like 2 to 4 frames and it just spikes and like everything just falls apart. I guess by
1 to 2 frames literally is that, like, it makes the difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Right there and then,
I'm not gonna lie though, the netcode is such a big thing too, because there's been so many times where I've like literally wanted to stream and then I'll be in like Nitro stream watching him and I would just see him getting trolled by like a time stone and I'm just like, I don't want to stream
The
anymore.
time stone is so insane.
I was actually at one point collecting clips to make like a video complaining about it, but my folder got too full that I feel like it would just not be a fun video. It would not be a fun video. So I just
eventually get old, right?
Yeah, it would get old because it's all the same thing. Where like the game stops, I drop an input, he super dashes at me, and I die. That is the clip.
Bro,
times 100. I had like 100 of those.
Yeah, you know what's bad when I've got a more consistent and basically similar connection against Seyhan playing Street Fighter than I do with Jake playing Dragon Ball.
Bro, me and Jake got to play Street Fighter in the beta, and I was like, "Wow,
this is good. This is playable.
This is good."
It really doesn't hit home
It's
until you like
incredible,
do something that you couldn't do before. It's just like I'm playing somebody from West Coast, and I did like when I'm playing like the few times I did play Street Fighter, I didn't even like realize I'm online sometimes. Like it's not even an afterthought anymore. Actually, it's like until you're done playing, you're just like, wait a minute. I was just playing online. I get on Dragon Ball. It's just, and then it hits me, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like,
I'm playing online.
You think it creates an opportunity to have more friends? To have more friends overall?
for sure.
Because I mean, it's you are able to connect people like crazy, like never before, where you can have a community of players from literally anywhere on the globe. And you can just all be playing and practicing and improving.
My first interaction,
it would definitely strengthen relationships, I would say as well.
No, 100%. Like my first interaction with Leffen was on Strive. We played a set. We played a tournament set for this team battle, and it was just like that. That was my first interaction, and we cannot get that on Dragon Ball.
My condolences.
Yeah. I think that's really good, right? Because even people like Seyhan, I've met Seyhan at the World Tours, but it would be nice to be able to play Seyhan for real in a game with Rollback. It'll create like that bond, like now I can actually talk to you.
Everyone's saying they're like, this patch is great for content. I'm like, nah, the patch that's gonna be great for fucking content is when niggas can actually play the goddamn game together when the rollback releases.
I'm still waiting to fight Lotus because even though you were at Evo, because I'd never been to Evo
Man,
before.
I've been to like 6 tournaments where I'm supposed to play with Jake, and we've never gotten the chance.
Bro, so
we never overlap. I'm like, oh, Lotus isn't here, and then I'm in a commentator block, and I see Lotus out there, and I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, you do be grinding, but yeah, it's they really pulled the rug out from under me at Evo last year when I was like, I was making all these plans, so like I'm gonna buy this tomorrow, I'm gonna be playing with Raptr, I'm gonna play with Jane, and then that shit was closed. I was like, hey, what the fuck?
You don't know.
I didn't know. Like this year I knew, but last year I didn't know. However, apparently next year it's gonna be like that where it actually is open, but I don't know if I'm gonna be there next year. We'll see.
There was a constant stream of people. There was a constant stream of people thinking the same thing we did.
Yeah,
and we had to turn them away because they didn't know.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no way Evo's gonna be open on Sunday. It's gonna be Thursday, Friday, Saturday because Sunday would impact their arena tickets.
That is also true.
Well, whatever the case is, there's going to be a third day. They made an announcement. I forget what it was exactly. I don't think I actually read
if it's a day
article.
before, I'm with that. Dude,
they had said it's now going to be 3 days and it's going to be a different new location.
Whatever the case is, just having that third day, I think, makes a big difference because it just feels like you're
get ready for Evo Australia.
You're trying so hard to cram so much stuff into those first 2 days, and it's just
I've seen those spiders.
Now you all know how, you'd all know how it feels to fucking travel to this country.
We're not traveling to Australia.
I promise you.
Nah, they did have that one tournament that was out there because I remember the first time I got to see Raptr play offline.
Oh yeah,
there was like all the time. It was like, yo, it's the Australia hit player. You know what I'm saying? I think you ended up making like top 16 somewhere.
That's why they've never done another one since.
Yeah, it was just
nobody wanted to.
It was just that one in season 1. Everyone was like, I will never make that trip again, and I was like, damn.
I'm never going to Australia again.
Again, you never
went. He went?
You don't know that?
No, he never wins.
You don't
Let
know
me see your
that.
passport right now. What a stamp at?
I don't collect.
Still remember. I remember Lord Knight, like way
Everybody
back when,
did,
with Lord Knight during that trip. Actually, Lord Knight apparently had a great time because he stayed an extra 2 days just to get shit.
He didn't see a spider.
That too, but he stayed. He might have. He probably just doesn't remember because he spent the 2 days getting just totally shit faced.
Sounds about okay.
That would do it.
Which is like,
okay.
yeah, the Australian pastime.
I bet you if people looked at my passport, it would look weird the fact that I didn't leave the country for like several years. The next thing and they know on my passport over an 11-month period, I went to France 3 times.
That is kind of wild.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I'm just like, what am I doing here?
I bet that looks weird as hell.
They always look at my passport weird, just like, yeah, you been to France? Sure.
I actually have a question for everyone then.
Go on.
If we were to get a rollback, would that diminish the offline play?
So that's an interesting discourse that I've been seeing in general on Twitter lately.
I probably wouldn't have to talk to you anymore, so hopefully.
So I
still feel like
I am of the opinion
because
go on.
Oh, sorry.
No, you can go.
All right. Well, I was just gonna say like, it helps because you are able to bring more people into the game, and it's easier to get serious about the game when the online isn't just a complete circus show.
Shut up, did you?
So you can actually get people who want to continue to like improve at the game and then get competitive, which will then feed into an offline scene.
Yeah, I want to.
I have
I don't want that
terrible news for you, Raptor. All offline events are dying. CO lost money last year.
Doesn't CO lose money
I'm
every
saying
year?
I see it going both ways. I do think that obviously there's a combination of factors that led up to this, but a lot of events are dying and some are legitimately dead. Like there are several like regionals and even and other events that we've lost in the last few years. You know,
West Coast has nothing.
I would say there's no NCR, no SCR.
West Coast have anything to offer?
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, we got
like,
festival fights, baby.
Oh, I remember really looking forward to fucking NorCal and SoCal regionals and shit. I remember it's season 1 seeing fucking Tatsu beat Moke and losing my fucking mind at that region. I was like, yo, what? Like this nigga nice, bro. Like that.
Like what can you do when like how do you beat the comfort of your own home? Like why would I want to travel?
And that's my thing. While I feel that obviously good netcode will encourage people to practice more and be more motivated, and then as a byproduct, like, all right, when I want to go test my skills at an event, I got to practice whatever. I'm about to go to a tournament. Simultaneously, it's a lot of niggas because I feel like a lot of niggas is just lazy. They're gonna be like, fuck, I need to leave the crib for. I can just play online. You know what I'm saying?
One thing,
it's not even a lazy factor though, right, Lotus? Because like, why do I really want to spend $600 to play my when I can just play online,
right?
And it's the same result. And it's like this time,
and
like I'm in my.
I can attest to that. I can attest to that because even as a nigga who like, I'm not like a tournament player. I'm not like super. I mean, I've played in tournaments. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a top level competitive player, right? But as a content creator, I'd be at some of these events. I'm like, I can really be home restreaming this and watching that shit right now. You know what I'm saying? So even though I'm having fun while I'm there, you know what I'm saying? It's like one of the biggest draws is like I get to play this shit offline with some niggas. You know what I'm saying? And then also, you know, the events is cool. You know, you get to shop the artist alley and stuff like that. See people in person. You know, that's a whole vibe in and of itself. That's all well and good. But it's like as somebody who already goes to events, sometimes I'm like, I could low key be back at the crib though. I can see a plenty of people who's like, nigga, what I need to go to this tournament for? Nigga, we got Rollback. Like, I'm gonna just play online. It's the same shit.
I think it really ties back to the community piece of it too, because one of the times I was most motivated to go to tournaments is when every week I was going to Wednesday night fights. You're playing against some of the best players. Super Noon, Subatomic Sabers, Kuba at the time, Reynold, like at the peak of the game, and you want to show up.
Sorry, Jake. Inzem,
that one time, Leffen popped out.
Yeah, and then exactly, and like Leffen showed up, played at the tournament, and like I had that kind of a resurgence too at the last season because it was myself, Zane, Garlic Bread, Alekovic, and all of us like going to these tournaments and training, and that's what does it for me. So I think again, Rollback, I think that would make it even better because it's like, okay, now we're all practicing again and it's good practice. We want to go out and actually play at this event. So I think it would be a good thing because it kind of replicates that feeling that's now lost because not only have they lost these regionals, we've lost a lot of our locals.
Yeah.
So two things that I want to say actually is the only problem with obviously doing tournaments on Rollback, especially like the big ones, right? That let's be honest, still the FTC, we don't have most people don't have good equipment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And people have bumped into that a lot. Like just a bad PC, bad connection, or just like something happens that day just causes their internet to blow up for some reason.
Not a word cloud.
That sounded personal.
Nah, we've all been there.
You know, like what if I had to play Zane on Street Fighter in his little PC? I did. It didn't work. But continuing on, another thing is that like if you guys ever noticed, the big online tournaments that have happened recently haven't had as much viewership as the offline tournaments.
I've definitely taken notice of that, and I wonder how much of that is because there's such an oversaturation of it now. With rollback netcode obviously becoming the standard in so many games, and every new fighting game that's coming out releasing with it, we're seeing an increasing amount of online weeklies and like I guess what you'd want to call online majors, and we're even seeing something like Capcom Cup have a lot of its tour actually being hosted online, and it just feels like there's this oversaturation of this influx of all these events, and it's like causing somewhat of a burnout. Two, it's difficult for not only players but obviously viewers and spectators to keep up with everything. And there's so many different events going on that it's hard to keep up, and like you either get exhausted of playing or exhausted of watching. And I'm wondering how much of that is actually a detriment to the scene. And I don't know. It's weird. I think it's an interesting conversation, but I don't know how both online events and offline events manage to coincide together and then entice people and convince them that it's worth doing one or the other, or like how offline events are going to continue to thrive or even to break even, because obviously as we know, like some of them are losing money, and that's why some of them have died off. And incentivize, I don't know, advertisers to invest in them and feel like this is worth it, and to believe in esports and FGC, and incentivize players to come out and make them feel like it's worth their while and worth obviously all the expensive costs of travel and lodging and then food while you're there. And then obviously you're gonna want to have some fun, so you gonna want to shop a little bit if you're like most people, because I know I can't go through the artist alley without buying a fucking keychain or some shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then when it comes to like the online shit, it's
there
like,
has to be an incentive.
But it's like, how do you what is the incentive? How do you do that? I don't know. I don't have the answers. But
more money in the tournaments, really. Like if you look at Evo, for example, it is what, 20K for first place.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like how do you incentivize advertisers to contribute to that and invest in it and make it feel like it's worth them giving money to sponsor the events and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
To counteract that too, and about the money, and I like looking at the numbers for BBB versus the Street Fighter event that Bum ran. It's like, even with the money behind it, sometimes the people just don't show up, and it's like really frustrating. It's like, damn, what do you do then?
$18,000, $18K,
and that wasn't enough to get more people to go.
And that's like, what I was gonna say.
It was a great event. It was
spectacular. Bum always does an incredible job at hosting these events.
And it's like, even when he put that much in, people still didn't show up, and it's like,
my house is
shit,
more
what next?
Jay.
Right?
I like being at my home playing.
See, the way I see it
some
is
people just can't afford it.
The future, I feel like the future way is going to be like, look at these other esport games, right? Look at like Apex Legends, right? They got ALGS finals this happening this weekend, right? It's Criminal Crop, $2 million pop prize, right? That people qualified through a bunch of online qualifiers, right? So I could see the future of the next fighting games, right? Or just how the direction it's going to go to is you go qualify online and then you go to an offline finale, right? You spent all this time, you invested in all this time to go make however much they're gonna have in the pop bonus input by whether, let's just say hypothetically, TNS, right? Maybe, can opener series, right? Or like that, we once did for Dragon Ball, me and Rek and Co. That's a huge incentive for people, right? Like, oh, I spent all this time practicing, got my points, and now I got to travel somewhere in a enclosed space area with other people, other high-level players that also grinded and put in all the effort and have a good time. And don't get me wrong, offline events are great, but like just the time period of, as at least a competitor aspect, right? It's like having to sit down, wait an hour or two to play your game, right? Just stuck in the venue, not being able to do everything can be very off-putting for competitors, right? And if every competitor is like, I don't want to travel, right? That also impacts viewership, without the competitors, the high-level ones, you're not going to have the viewers. You see where I'm going with this?
Right.
Yeah. Although I will say this, I think one of the reasons why the offline still get a lot more viewers than most onlines is that even with rollback, a lot of online tournaments do tend to at least relatively be regional based, like NA tournaments or NA tournaments, Europe tournaments, even for Street Fighter for a lot of the time. So when people actually go to these offlines, and it's to the point where people from Europe flew here, or NA flew here, or Japan flew here, more people watch those because people get more interest, I think, in who's the best when everyone gets the chance to fight each other, rather than just these regional stuff.
Yeah, but those are
that too.
they're so far and few between though, right? There's like maybe 3 tournaments, 4 that attract international competition. Everything else is kind of just hung out to dry, right? Like UFA is what, next weekend? 2 weeks from now?
No, Thanksgiving.
2 months.
When is it? 2 months? Oh shit.
2 months.
Well,
2 months.
my point's
That's
still gonna stand that like
Otaku's in 2
you're
weeks.
gonna have you're not really gonna have people who here is anybody here going to UFA from NA?
If I get hired.
So okay, it'd be for work.
I would have if it wasn't a holiday.
Yeah, maybe.
It totally made traveling another 46 hours to get there.
There you go.
100%.
Right. So
100%.
that's like the big issue too. You know, if we just comes back to travel, money, time. You know, not everybody has the time for that. And if these TOs want to keep their events going, they're gonna have to probably double the price they charge already, and people are gonna be like, "Well, I already paid like $150 to go eat at Evo. Now it's $300 plus everything else." You know.
Right.
It's like a double-edged sword at that point, no, Club?
Come again?
It's more like a double-edged sword at that point for the players and the TOs, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but TOs, if they just run online events for the comfort of their own home, like how much do you think TNS makes? Like running 3 tournaments a week, running all those ads, getting all the subs in the comfort of their own house instead of like renting out a venue every week. They make plenty, right?
A lot, yeah.
Yeah. So the TNS is probably looking at it like, damn, we make this much, being at home, but we do the offline thing because we love the community. Financially, it's a terrible decision, right? But they do it because they love the community, But eventually, they're going to reach an impasse where they're going to have to make a decision. And I wouldn't fault them for them being like, you know what? We have to stay online. Maybe they'll switch to invitationals, but it's just so hard financially.
And look at this too. Like all these online tournaments are typically free to enter. The times where there has been an entry fee, the whole community was up in arms. And it's not like these brackets just run themselves. It's not like the stream production is getting run for free. It's not like all this equipment and the commentators are like appearing out of thin air. It's like the whole infrastructure of it is like 9 out of 10 times when you see a commentator on a stream and the producer and everything, like everybody's doing it because they love it. They're not getting paid for these positions.
Exactly.
Right? And it's like we ask, hey, can you pay $5 to enter this tournament that I'm hosting? It has 500 something people in it, or even like 60 people in it. And all of a sudden, it's the worst thing in the world. It's like, why would you charge this? I'm sitting at home to play. And it's like, tournaments are a privilege. They're not a given. And it's not sustainable for like organizers to, I really think it's not sustainable for organizers to not charge, especially with how much work it takes to coordinate in the Discord, make sure that everybody's connections are fine, troubleshoot with people for hours, right? Like, there's so many hands that go in the pot. And it's like, there's a lot of people who just do it for free. And without them, if we get frustrated, it's over. Like, it's hard.
I mean, we could look at Team Spooky, right? That's a perfect example.
Or even Bum, to be honest, because sorry, I was eating while I was letting everyone speak. Remember, Bum used to charge $10 to enter, City of Mayhem and shit, right? And eventually he stopped, and then he started grinding Match Arena really hard. He's always pushing, and he's done a very great job of like getting good prize pools for the players and everything, right? But
nobody can push a match arena like Bum.
Yeah, but there were a lot of people that there were a lot of people that were coming at Bum's neck. I remember at one point it's like, how the fuck you charging $10 for an online event? It's like, bro, because he's trying to pay the TOs that are helping him run it in the Discord. He's trying to pay the players, obviously. It's like, and like, yeah, I'm sure as anyone he's logically greedy, would. Bro. No, but I'm sure logically as anyone would, he would also like to make a little bit of money. But a lot of that shit is either like breaking even or very little profit, because it's like, doing it for
he also reinvests pretty much everything back into
you know what I'm saying? Niggas out there buying $2,000 cameras and all these mics and equipment consoles, you know what I'm saying? It's like
running out the venue.
It's like, bro, do y'all think this shit come free? Like, you know what I'm saying?
There's no sponsors here either. I mean, he's actually just a fucking one-man army. Like, he just books it out on his own dime.
Yeah, so it's interesting, like because
the recent Street Fighter tournament obviously didn't have that many people, right? Mm-hmm. He definitely went negative on that.
I would say like he absolutely had to have lost money on that, and that's just the bullet that he bit, because he wanted to do something like that for the community. I'm sure he expected a better turnout than that, and I was disappointed for him that it wasn't better, because I expected it to be a lot bigger, right? But it's
I thought it was going to be huge.
Yeah,
$18,000 in the pot, and what, 60 people entered?
Give or take.
Yeah, roughly. Without DQs, I don't even know. But I don't know. It's unfortunate. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
It's just, people are so used to being in the comfort of their own home, right?
Yeah.
Especially like
I wouldn't even say it's just that, because like,
well, what I was gonna follow up with was like, especially the top level players are like, oh, I'll just enter can opener, TNS, and just win that, or get second place and like make the same amount through running ads and winning the tournament or getting second and getting subs, right? Because it's a domino effect, right? Like I bet every time Punk wins a tournament, he gets like 50 subs or something, right? Runs ads.
I believe Strive players were having this like exact discussion quite a while ago, wasn't it? With the just complete oversaturation of online like tournaments and how easy it is to not go to offlines, which was a real fun suffering from success situation with Dragon Ball over here.
Don't ask me. I don't keep up with the online anything.
I mean, it's hard. There's so much now, which is like, again, it's a blessing and a curse. It's a double-edged sword. But this is like, I don't blame people for not knowing about certain events or not tuning in, because it's like, I mean, I'm sure there's tournaments going on for games right now as we speak that I.
Well, there definitely is one.
What's happening right now?
I just passed by it.
Matter of fact,
I need to tickle my casual bone real quick. Look, I need to know. I have a question. I made a tweet not too long ago. I hate to switch the topic. We can stay on. Lotus, you're the moderator. Can I cook?
Go ahead. Chef it up.
All right. So I made a tweet. After I saw how the limit break characters were with the little level 1 and the level 3 and how crazy just limit break characters were, that got me to thinking, man. I was like, I found myself, at least early on, it kind of died out eventually, but early on, right after the patch, I was like, damn, I low-key just want my first 2 characters to die real quick so I can like do some crazy shit with my limit break character. And then that made me think, I was like, what if Dragon Ball FighterZ had like just the option? I know they have the option locally for 1v1, but
the Skull Girls
break isn't on.
Oh, you want Skull Girls? Is what
Skull Girls.
I've never played.
I don't think Dion knows a lot about Skull Girls, but the option to be like, I want to go in with just having one character from the jump, or just something like that.
You have a ratio system.
I just want it to be like a mode where it's just 1v1, so both sides, but like let's say triple the health or something, or double the health.
Yeah, that's
and
what
then,
it is.
Like limit break. Like, do you guys think 1v1 in a competitive? Because if you're playing locally, you can do 1v1. Obviously, right now, FighterZ has it to where if it is 1v1, you're not limit break, because you have to like tag in for that to like activate or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. What would you guys think? Because I feel like adding a little more spice to the game. I know it's built to be a team game, and also the other question is, 1, would that be dope? 2, who do you think would be the best character in the game if it was just a 1v1, like with probably Gogeta, I would guess.
Yeah,
Gogeta 4 probably. Yeah,
it would be
Gogeta 4. I think the level 7 blue Gogeta would be insane.
Well, the cool part about the idea of a 1v1 for Dragon Ball, especially, is the fact that Dragon Ball doesn't really have much in terms of counter picking or anything like that. But in a 1v1 version, there actually could be counter picking in Dragon Ball, and I think that would be interesting to see.
Right, I think that would be sick. I don't know. Again, that's just the casual bone, but
that one touch game will go so crazy.
Yeah, we probably wouldn't be able to have the situation where characters die in one touch. Or
I was gonna say, yeah,
you gonna give Tien more help?
And don't change the
damage. What do y'all think the neutral would be like if that were a thing, right? Because is it people like, I'm about to just wild up from the start and get this hit right away, or do you think niggas would be like, I don't know, bro, because if I get hit once, it's a wrap for me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
some of these full screen anti-neutral lariats aren't exactly all that good anymore, because suddenly you do it and you can't have an assist to do it, so all of a sudden
now you're not doing full screen lariat into assists into
would
mix
actually
and
be
shit
really
like
interesting.
that. So
I think
the funny part is even with the triple health, S Broly would still find a way to TOD you.
Someone brought an interesting thing. Coach Steve used to win 1v1 tournaments back in season 3.
Oh yeah,
that was the thing.
They're fun.
That was an era. But yeah, Coach Steve used to do that. So shout outs to him.
You just reminded me of the 3v3 from the Summit House way back in the day.
When everyone played.
Like Team Double Diccolo.
The only thing I remember of that one was Cell and the 2 Kid Boos team named Cell's Daycare.
And then there was it was Piccolo Diccolo.
It was double Diccolo. It was Hook Apology Man, and it was Hook Apology Man, and I think Nakil
made that name.
Didn't they end up winning? I'm pretty sure they ended up winning that too.
I don't even remember that myself.
I forget who the third member was.
I think it was Nakil, and I think he was playing Super Saiyan Goku.
Also, this is also
That's fire.
Also casual bone, because we've been on the competitive shit. We talked about fuzzies. We talked about these characters and their buffs and stuff. Now we're in my domain. All right. I want to know.
Gojo.
Do we want to see more? Do we want to see more? Do you want to see more DLC like outside of characters? I want to see more DLC like cosmetic shit. Like
Oh yeah, for
different
sure.
outfits,
Oh yeah, easily.
like
I would unironically, I would 100%.
That's our
Sorry.
Go ahead, Raptr.
Well, I was just gonna be quick because I was gonna say I would 100% pay the price of a full character for just UI Omen, like sign. Just give me that shit. Just please.
Or Super Saiyan God Vegeta.
Super Saiyan God.
I just want Super Saiyan Vegeta in the tank top. That's all I want. Like just put him in the tank top. I'm good.
No Majin.
Really attractive.
I'd rather have Majin Vegeta be his own character because I feel like he.
That is true. That's true.
Yeah.
I think
does Bandai even realize how much money they've missed out on by not putting costumes?
I don't know if it's someone up at Shueisha or someone at
Bandai
Bandai or what, but there's somebody out there that is just so overprotective of their IP that they just refuse to literally print money. Because I would buy the game 3-4 times over in terms of costumes and extra skins and shit.
Added new costumes. They could add a new costume for like a couple characters like once a month or something like that. Because I feel like it wouldn't be heavy development, strain or anything like that. So on their part, it's not like a lot of man hours being put in. And then
no
stages we're gonna eat that shit up.
Dude, if I play,
this is the only Dragon Ball game without the time chamber, by the way. Like in recent years, the one where it would be the most relevant. The most relevant, where it's like, oh, instead of going into the lab to practice, like I'm going into the time chamber. That was like the easiest setup, slam dunk,
whatever the fuck that
imaginable.
Is with the points in the background, the
Galactic
Arena. That's the only new map we ever got.
Arena.
How about this as an idea, right? How about we have some Twitch drops? That would be great for everyone overall.
It's the game's too late. And that's why
Yeah, but they would
for 2 hours. Watch the streamer for 2 hours, and you
never do that, dog.
But that would probably be the best thing they could do.
It would be sick.
Yeah, it would.
How much?
If ifs and buts was candy and nuts, we don't have a Merry Christmas. You feel me?
I think it's just a case of like. So for anyone who doesn't know, FighterZ is currently still the single best and fastest selling Dragon Ball game of all time.
Yeah,
I think
it's by far and away Arxis' biggest, most popular, best-selling game of all time.
I mean, it's still smashing the shit out of Strive. Like
no, literally, I think Strive is somewhere around like a milli, and DBFZ is like over 10. So it's literally 10 times the amount.
So it's the fastest selling and best selling.
I just need
Dragon Ball game of all time.
With somebody, bro. Like I really wish I could just like hit somebody up on speed dial. Like you guys are missing.
I mean,
like,
so many people. How many times is Dodo tweeted that?
Like, as somebody who I used to do QA testing, it wasn't for fucking Dragon Ball or fighting games, but as somebody who did like bare bones quality assurance testing back before I did YouTube, like I know whenever there's any sort of update in terms of like something balance related, I couldn't imagine how hard it would be to like quality assurance test that. I mean, luckily for us, FighterZ doesn't seem to be quality assurance testing any of their fucking buffs and shit like that. But nevertheless,
lucky us.
I bring that up to say, like, you wouldn't have to do any of that if you're just adding a new costume or a new map or, little shit like that. I mean, you would have to do a little bit, but nothing nearly as extreme as, actually overhauling a character, which is what they have been doing every patch.
There's shit in the game files. Like, Omen is in the game files. You just flip a switch. I'm pretty sure there's also Super Saiyan Vegito. Just like in the files. Like, it's in there.
Yeah, Super Saiyan Gogeta.
The saddest thing is that probably hundreds of people would literally spend $5 just to play Super Saiyan Vegeta with an M on his head.
Yeah,
I would.
No, you're gonna color swap.
There are probably like hundreds to thousands of people that would spend $5 for it just to have.
I ain't gonna hold you. If
with the gray outfit, like I would pay for that. Like honestly,
I'd have paid $5 for the Pixel Videl.
This is the biggest one. This is the biggest one. The only reason I don't play TN is because I'm sorry, in my opinion, the green drip was way better than whatever, like the Dragon Ball.
You and Dotto both feel that way, and I don't get it because I like TN's
bigger than his head. I agree.
Nah,
cool,
I need swole Dragon Ball Z TN with the shirt off, bro. That's the TN.
Oh, you just attracted to bro.
That shit would be hype. Dude,
just attracted.
I think the only costume that I like would want and I'd immediately pay for, and I'm surprised they never did it, is if they gave Super Saiyan Goku a Super Saiyan 4 skin and they kept
A
everything
what?
the same, and they just
That's in the
made
game.
no.
Shit's still in the game.
You wanted to have what?
You cooking, but they would not do that
No,
because
but
it's not
all
Super Saiyan 4
That would be too
But
hard.
all-
You would
but
have
all
to
the-
animate
yeah,
them too.
but all they would do is just make his beams red, like in the old games when he did 10 times Kamehameha, and I'm lit. I'm good.
Because those audio files are in the game, by the way, and they sync up to Super Saiyan Goku's level 3.
Bro, just give me
That was
base.
way back.
Bro,
Like that shit's
give me.
it's in the files.
Just give me base Goku and take his shirt off, man. That's all I need.
Yep.
Battle damage would actually would be easier.
If they just dropped a costume pack and then like half the roster gets a secondary costume, because why is Videl the only one who gets to like switch between the pigtails?
Well, y'all remember in the files,
That's how they get me that style.
in the files, they actually found like that icon that shows that they had plans for there to be alternate costumes because there's like a whole thing, like a button that just was able to push with a costume swapping thing. And we found that back in season 1. I say we. They found it back in season 1, but it never got used.
You know, there was also a thing where it was like instead of having like the idle characters for character select, they would like do motions like they do in Strive.
No, the idle animations, where when you selected them, like Hit would pull his hands out of his pockets.
Yeah,
maybe they're working on it for DBFZ too.
Okay, do y'all actually? Okay, how many people in this call actually think that there will be a Dragon Ball FighterZ 2? Because
in like 5 years.
I do, but a better question would be: do you think there's one like near?
No.
One near, but I do think there will eventually, at some point, we're gonna get like hit with the craziest mix.
I would say there would be one near
like
if we
100.
didn't
There are
get Rollback.
180 people, by the way. The entirety of Arc System works over every team. It's 180 people, so. They are spread thin.
You know that,
but we don't know if Arxis is even gonna make the next one.
Yeah,
It ain't
I
DBFZ
think the
if
most
they don't.
realistic. I think the most realistic answer here is that they're designing this rollback as a stress test for something in the future, whether it could be One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, right, or Dragon Ball.
I think
But how does that
understand as well? They have made a Dragon Ball One Piece crossover before on the DS because it was the Extreme Butoden X. The One Piece game they made.
That shit was lit.
A stress test? How though?
Like,
Because
it's
they
real.
already have rollback in every other fucking game that they've made except this one.
Not for a fucking tag fighter where everything's moving at a fucking
it's a
million.
custom
I was
game
gonna say,
and these mechanics.
I guess,
you could not
yeah.
put Street. You
That's-
can't put
that's fair.
Street Fighter.
But here's the thing though. Remember, Arc System Works isn't working on Dragon Ball anymore. So this is Bandai making.
Oh yeah,
This is
that
Bandai
also
making
true.
rollback.
This is Bandai's rollback, and you know they have never made that.
Be careful, you
Ah,
know,
but
when
didn't
some
they,
of these crazy changes happen, everyone's like, "Man, Arxis, come on, Arxis!" Like,
Man, I forget who, but maybe one of you know.
In my chat,
I've had to correct so many people about the fact that
literally.
it's just doing these things.
Wasn't it confirmed though? I forget who he is, but there's someone notable and noteworthy that knows what the fuck they're doing with rollback. That is like the head, like piloting this thing to develop it for DBFZ. I don't remember who, but does anyone remember?
He probably got
modder, right?
He probably got moved to Budokai 4 at this point.
That dude probably got booted from the earth as soon as Bandai heard about it.
I don't remember who he was, but he'd already developed rollback for another game. It might have been Strive. It might have been, I don't know what.
I think it was Street Fighter, wasn't it?
I don't remember, but it was someone, and we were all like, "Oh shit, like that's what's up," and I just can't remember his name.
if you think about it, if they did drop Dragon Ball FighterZ 2, wouldn't it low key, based off of all the patches that we've received for current Dragon Ball FighterZ, like what if, let's say, they stopped updating Dragon Ball FighterZ at season 2 or season 3, and then they drop Dragon Ball FighterZ 2, but it's just like how this patch is, because that's the direction they wanted to take the game, obviously. So it's like, what if they drop Dragon Ball FighterZ 2 and it's just like what this patch is? So in a sense, like, because this game is completely different than it was when it first came out. Like, this is damn near a different game. It just visually looks the same.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some credence to that, right? Since they did that same shit with Luke and Street Fighter 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: people would be
a new DBFZ too. It could just be a UI overhaul.
Yeah, well, people would be okay if the drastic changes came in the form of a 2 because it's a whole new game. People you can't compare it to the old game.
Oh yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. That's a big thing for me too. Is that like it's hard to accept the game for what it is when I know what it used to be and how much I used to love what it used to be. But when the game just, if a new game just releases that way, like you take it,
drops like that.
Yeah, you take it for what it is. Like, oh, this is just how the game is. I'm not comparing it to like, oh, but I remember like 3 years ago when I played this game, it was this. It's like, no, this is just how the game is. And if you either like it or you don't, but you have a different perspective, I think, on how you view it because this is how it is off rip.
Yeah, made only worse by the fact that we had this. Sorry about that, by the way. Just the fact that we've literally had to watch it happen year to year. Like,
it's slowly progressing to what you guys don't like about the game. Yeah,
it's every single year, every single patch. We're basically all saying we didn't want this, and then the next patch we don't care.
Yo, son, these last like 4 patches specifically, it's like, yo, we didn't ask for that, and they're like, well, we're gonna tell you what you want.
You don't want Goku's the only. You don't want the only change to Goku Blue to be his fight meme now deflects small key blast.
That's not hype. That's not hype.
Yeah, that's not hype.
Anyway, I'm glad I could switch this conversation back to casual shit. I am gonna leave again. Goodbye. I love you guys.
I hate this guy.
But whose fault would it be, right? Like, is it their fault or our fault for continue playing the game?
Oh, it's a combination of both, because obviously it's a matter of like
gaslit.
It's a matter of like who do they decide to listen to. Clearly, it's not like us in this call.
Hey,
right?
don't forget.
Also,
they got feedback from us. They told us, we gave them feedback that we
don't know what
I don't remember them giving us no email, no form to fill out. I ain't seen no Twitter post. I don't know.
See the Reddit post, Lotus?
I don't use Reddit.
Daniel, don't you remember that day that we asked for Vidal's auto combo to whiff on crouchers?
Oh yeah, you didn't see the Facebook or the MySpace Reddit post?
The MySpace post?
I think I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to say this because I feel like this might be extremely petty, but like I feel like they be making changes out of spite sometimes.
No,
like,
they 100%.
The entire community asked for us to. It was like, please remove these special moves having extra properties like Key Blast involved, Projectile involved. Gotta go. They're like, say less. Guard
hold on. I gotta add to that, dude. I gotta add to that.
You're gonna put it on normals.
Someone at Arxis or Bandai, I swear, had a hate boner for me, dude. Every character I touched just died.
Yo, funny that you mentioned that.
Why didn't you play Fusion's Cloud?
Hold on. So there was my friend said this. It was a couple weeks ago. My friend said this. He was like, "Have you noticed that they nerfed every black man's character?" I took off my glasses to say this. You can't see. I took off my glasses.
Lord 19.
No, they consistently fucked over LK like on a very regular basis.
You are following him, bro.
Nerf. Team Gohan. Well, Pred's kind of
make him
Pred, you're fine.
My man handing out passes over here.
I don't know, bro. They seen Wade cooking. They said fuck genemba and hit. These niggas to get meter nerf for some reason.
Dude, yeah, March 21 was my fault, dude. Sorry, I played her and then they nerfed her. That was my fault, dude.
It was definitely my fault. I'll take the blame for it. It's okay.
I'm sorry for hating genemba, boys. Sorry for that.
There's no way that wasn't like a correlation of you being in like.
No.
Looked at every single character in the grand finals and nerfed.
They saw hit in a mirror match one time and was like, nah, that can never happen again. Like, yo, relax. They seen this nigga hit in top 8 once in grand finals. That
it's not fusions, dude. It's not Goku. It's not Vegeta. Nah,
it's not hype.
Can't have that.
No, bro. They literally went to grand finals just like every single character here packed up. Every single genemba, hit, lab coat, blue cheetah, Vegeta. Gotta go.
That's because the French are the one that write the patch notes.
Speak on it.
I'm not gonna lie, they love
Speak on it.
Wawa somewhere in there writing the patch notes again.
Okay, I actually, because it feels like obviously, and I don't know if it's just because most of us are familiar with talking with each other all the time, but I feel like it's especially like I don't know. I'm not as in tune with the French or the rest of the European scene as I am with like you guys, obviously. So I want to hear more from like Seyhan and Wade, because I feel like obviously they've spoken the least, whether that's a matter of comfort or just because it's late over there and the niggas is tired.
Yeah, ugly.
We're just really fucking loud. We're just really loud.
Well, that's also a thing, but I want to hear, because like I don't actually know, for example, like what the scene is at all around Seyhan. Like, do you have locals out there? Are there other people that are still playing the game? What the general like landscape is looking like? How people are feeling or anything like that?
Do you have friends?
Damn, I ain't. Why you been on this nigga head?
Hey, let me defend this man. I have no friends that I grew up with that play games like this. All right, I got you.
I thought that shit was going to end at I have no friends.
Damn.
Anyway, Seyhan, go on, please.
So, in Germany, we basically have like, at least in my region, we have no local scene at all, and even like throughout Germany in general, there are very few local scenes, even like at all. And the problem is the German players, there are like very few German players and they are all spread out throughout Germany. So if I want to like go play offline with a German player, it's easier to drive to France and play versus Wade than driving to the other side of Germany to play, I don't know, Haikai or Jason or whoever. So it's not really that good. And talking about Rollback again, the big problem with Germany is we have very bad routing, and Germany's internet is also very inconsistent. So Rollback for me especially is very important because I have no local scene and our internet environment is quite bad. So Rollback is or would be a lifesaver for me to actually play the game. But well, if you don't have Rollback, I don't have any motivation to, lab and play the game because I can't. That's the issue.
So does that mean are you excited for Project L then? To sidebar a little bit.
I am. I actually wasn't interested at all in Project L, but after I saw, some more gameplay, especially after Evo, I definitely got very hyped, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing it.
From what I got to play at Evo, the game does seem pretty fun, and I've been interested.
The game is actually lit.
Yeah, I've been interested in it from the start.
I'm
but
so
like,
happy to see another fighting game with high movement.
bro, I was so upset because like you only get to play like a couple of matches, and I felt like by that third game that I played, I was like, oh, I'm starting to understand how Aria works. I'm like, oh, little mix here, little combo there, and then it was over.
15 minutes
Back of the line.
I was like, fuck, I would just start to kind of understand, and then it was over.
I mean,
I got to play one game.
All the content creators and top players get that shit too. Like, you have to go line up again.
Yeah, but I think we got lucky because we stayed there like for 1 hour and a half straight, and they
seriously,
they didn't play. We just played.
Must be nice.
Funny that you mentioned that, right? Because like I had a meet and greet thing with FlyQuest, and like I was like at least 10 minutes late because I was playing Project L.
Damn.
I was like, damn, they're gonna hate me.
Hey, bro, who I need to contact? Right? How come I ain't get the invite? Like, I know I ain't no one special, but damn, I want to make some content on the game. I promote it for you. Know what I'm saying? Who I gotta hit up to get the goddamn?
I'll be honest, I am kind of surprised you weren't invited.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't until I saw just how many people were, and I was like, damn, I kind of feel like I could have been part of that group.
Here's my question for you, Lotus, because you definitely have the metrics for it on YouTube and on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And I how many followers do you have on Twitter?
Like almost 60K, I think, somewhere around.
Okay, cool. So here's the biggest thing. I need you to go follow the Riot FGC account and literally just open your mouth, because if you don't open your mouth, you can't get fed, right?
Hey, I do be saying that closed mouths don't get fed. So
one single conversation with anybody there, and they would have been like, "Yeah, we want this guy." If they knew you were at Evo, they would have given you a pass.
Say less. Guaranteed. I'm following the account right the fuck now.
It's true though, because like when you think about it,
FGC account follows me.
When you think about it, like the content creators such as Lotus and stuff, right? They have the biggest reach for sure. I'm more than a competitive player, guaranteed.
100%.
They'll listen to you more.
Okay,
but just because.
That being said, though, I do. While that is true, I need to temper expectations and things like that, because as somebody with a following, and I'm looked at as like, I have this power, this influence because I'm a content creator and I have whether it's the 100K subscribers or however many followers, wherever, right? I just want people in the YouTube comments and in the Twitch chat to understand that yes, the influence is there to some degree, the impact is there to some extent, but I just feel like we are I think people overestimate just how much power influence that we have. Because like I remember I was responding to a comment the other day who was basically like, you should be using your power to like make this change and that change. Like, look here, my nigga. If I had that level of impact or influence on the decision making behind the balancing of Dragon Ball FighterZ, the game would not look anything like the fuck it does right now. Okay, so like, while
look at what Nokami did, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I do truly believe there was a single patch that was in fact the YouTuber patch, because they nerfed base Vegeta Rocket Kick, which was my doing. They nerfed Bardock B assist, which was Kami's doing, and they nerfed the fuck out of Yamcha, which was Dado's doing. I truly believe that was the YouTuber patch, but we didn't ask for that. We didn't want that. We were just having fun making videos, and niggas like, yep, no fun. And I was like, all right, cool. I guess I'll go fuck myself. But like,
that's actually something I'd be like mentioning OD to like people, you got to be careful what you meme about because that is
No,
the
because
community
that's
feedback.
also
like, buff barrier is why
No,
we're here.
memes.
Like,
Memes are
go,
dangerous.
that was
Memes
me,
are
that
dangerous
was
because
me.
that shit got nerfed off memes because the same thing applies to Super Saiyan Goku. Nobody, and I mean nobody, actually thought Super Saiyan Goku was overpowered or too strong or needed to be nerfed or that his 2M was too good, right? But we memed about it. We called the nigga 2M-ku, and they thought we didn't like it, and so they nerfed it. They snapped his leg, and the nigga ain't never been the same since. He could walk again, but he still got a little bit of a limp. You know what I'm saying? Like he was never the same.
It was out of spite.
They proceeded to never
I have
nerf
y'all to blame for
character
base
again.
Goku.
Yeah,
This is your fault.
that shit is unfortunate.
Nah, it's actually Wawa's fault. Let's be honest. Be Kazunoko, that was
Straight
over.
up, it's straight up 1984 out here. We're not allowed to talk at all. They're always watching. They're always listening.
But yeah, that being said,
if they're always listening, I am screwed.
Man, look.
Yep.
I mean, no, you're fine, mate. No matter what you say about Beerus, he's getting another buff.
I say that to say that sometimes the real influence or impact that we have as content creators or people with a following isn't necessarily in the ways that you'd want or expect it to. And then when you actually ask out loud vocally for certain changes or to see improvements, it don't always work out the way that you would hope. Because I'm seeing it now with myself, but I've seen it for years because obviously you guys know like SeeReax was just here, then like even like some of the homies with even bigger followings like Rhymestyle and Afro, who are obviously very close friends of mine. Niggas see like, oh, he got over 1 million subscribers, he must be able to do this and that. It's like, look, bro, for one, it probably be different with Riot because this is over here, but like them niggas in Japan don't give a fuck what a black nigga on YouTube got to say. I could help the voice be heard. I could talk to somebody at Bandai who could then send it over there. It don't mean they gonna care or listen, but I just want to say that to just say that, like, because I've seen it multiple times. I don't have the power or influence over Dragon Ball FighterZ that I think some of y'all would like to believe. Because if I did, Trunks wouldn't have been this bad for this long. If I did, a lot of things would be different. But it is what it is.
He was broken. You didn't see Inzem's video?
Shit. I think he
watches Inzem's videos.
I think he got a lot.
Yeah.
That's
and
crazy.
I'm not gonna say that character was in grand finals right before the patch. Just saying. Just saying. It wasn't Wawa, but just throwing that out there. That's it. I'm about to get attacked in the comments. That's it. That's all.
Fucking way. DBFZ fucking Evo Grand Finals was a mere match of the Fusions in 17 still. So I don't want to hear nothing about nothing.
I mean, that's Vegito. That's not a fair competition. That's just not fair. That's literally just not fair. You know,
if it's not Vegito, it's not broken.
Anywho.
Wait, so real quick before because I actually want to talk about this. Do y'all think they actually like kind of sort of balance the game right now based off the lore of the series? Part of me feels like they kind of are, considering how much they've been buffing the Blue Hell characters versus their base counterparts.
I think they just did it based upon how many the representation of the characters. So like they did this with Gotenks, right? Gotenks was one of the least played characters online for like a while, and they buffed him to God knows what. So I'm guessing they do it on that, and then they probably do it on DLCs. You know, the characters they want
DLC
to be
usually
played.
got to be juiced.
Yeah. There's definitely a case of like the fusions cannot be allowed to like be weak in any way.
Yeah,
but
sure.
They literally said they want a character that weren't played a lot to be played more often. That's what.
100%. That character usage has a huge influence, and I feel like before in the past it was like, okay, characters that aren't played as much, we're gonna buff them, and characters that are played a lot more, we're gonna bring them down. Whereas it feels like now it's just like we're just constantly trying to bring everybody up. But 100%, it's like they do absolutely take lore into account. I mean, you look at the game, despite how it feels right now in terms of like some of the decisions they make with the balancing, they absolutely, like, the people that worked on this, they were either huge fans of it or they definitely did their due diligence. Everything from like the animations to the little references in terms of like certain characters doing damage, like, oh, this is Android 18 and her super does 1800 damage, or this is 21 and this does 21%, or whatever the case may be, or like certain like level 3s or level 1s that have their super damage being the equivalent to like the year that the movie that they were in released, you know, shit like that, right? They obviously packed a lot of lore into this, and I have no doubt that the lore of the character's power in the series is meant to carry over to the game. But also just feels like, okay, now we just want the game to be as crazy as possible, and we want everybody to be able to compete. So while the fusions might still be stronger than everyone else, it's like, but we still want Krillin to be able to kick somebody's ass. So yeah.
Well, you know the lore is at least taking some part of the effect because of the fact that Nappa Cybermen by themselves are stronger than Yamcha.
It's true, man. It's true. Those Cybermen do.
In Yamcha's defense, that Cyberman's better than like 80% of the cast to begin
That
with.
Cyberman is fucking OD, bro. That's got to be.
That is at least lore accurate.
EX Cyberman has to be like top 2 or 3 moves in the game, right? Because I recently made a video.
I think it's top 1.
I think it's probably one.
Okay, so I recently made a video where I was like, what was it, the top 10 or top 15? Top 10 like special moves in Dragon Ball FighterZ. And like I didn't necessarily put them in order, but like the last couple that I talked about were like GT Goku, like Reverse Kame, and like Nappa Cyberman. I feel like those are probably like the top 2 specials in the game right now.
Yep, I agree.
And then Perfect Attack.
And yes,
I mean,
Cell EX Perfect Attack is OD.
Yeah, that one.
That was also on the list.
That one, I've been playing a lot of Cell actually recently and just laughing at how good that shit is.
It's so dumb.
Bro, I just been
It's so
online,
funny.
just like hitting that move out of block stun, out of hit stun.
The ignorance is sick, right?
It's not even frame 4, it's
bro.
frame 2 for
No,
what,
it's frame.
like,
It's
God
frame
knows
4.
what.
It's frame 4.
Is it frame four?
They looked at it.
It's still frame 1 anti-air though. That's the good.
Yeah.
Part.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, I didn't get the memo during the patch notes. I'm playing Red Gogeta and I hit 6H and he died. Like,
Yeah.
I lost the character. I was like, what's
That shit
happening?
was ridiculous. Yeah, no, I don't know if I don't know if I just missed it in the original translation or what, but I didn't realize how juiced that move got. And so I was playing online after the patch, and I was playing a Cell play, and the nigga just kept mashing that shit on block. I was like, yo, why am I fucking exploding?
You were probably
Am I
playing.
tweaking?
Right,
Bro, that was my exact
I had to pull
reaction,
up the
bro.
notes. I was like, okay, they made this shit. I was like, yo, am I tweaking? That was my reaction. I was like, what's really going on here?
Well, listen,
You were probably playing me, dude. That's the worst
this is
part.
what you do, Lotus. You pick GT Goku,
Oh god.
and you just do reverse Kame. It's an
And then we go
unstoppable
past each
force.
other.
and welcome to the reason why I don't like this patch.
This shit is so dumb.
These
Respect.
invincible
How was that
moves
even on
are
here?
moves I don't like the most.
At this point, we're just going full circle, right? It's just like GT Goku is back to being the best.
Towers on
Yeah.
top again. It's like,
I'd
damn.
rather GT Goku and Cell be the best for what they did before, not because they have this one invincible move that they do 24/7. There's nothing you could do about.
Yeah,
Oh well, I mean the
same.
crazy part. At least
now than it was in
Cell
season 2.
Wait, what'd you say, Daniel?
was
Is GT Goku better now than he was in season 2?
yes.
In a very different way. But well, the thing is, I feel like
It's in a different
because
way. Yeah.
season 2 GT Goku had a very clear cut win condition, whereas I don't feel like that's necessarily the case now. You could argue that the character is stronger now, but it's like, okay, you have a win condition. It's like, I get this hit, I'm in the corner, I spirit bomb, you get this disgusting level 3 mix, 2-touch, you die. And like the game is just 2-touch in general, so I guess it's just like, oh, I'm just gonna reverse Kame until it lands. And I guess you could consider that your win condition, but I don't feel like that's as like straightforward or as like season 2
And
was.
I'm gonna be honest.
And with, go ahead, Inzem.
I'll say I'm gonna be honest. I'm giving it to season 2 only because, like, in comparison to the rest of the cast, it's not close.
True.
Like, he was a do-all character in season 2. He's do shit now, but he's not do-all. He's not like the best neutral assist. Also the best level 3 mix. Also some of the best corner mix. Also some of the best neutral.
Also, he had that
also
ridiculous
small.
hip. He had that ridiculous hitbox.
It was
And
also
and
like
Hurtbox.
during the patch where they removed, like, because this was way back. It was so going into the next season, they removed all multi supers and then added a character who had the
Who
best
could
multi
level
supers
3 into special into level 1.
Yeah, like the best
Thank you,
multi
people of
supers
the
the game had
universe.
ever seen at the time.
But you never did level 3 because you just the Oki and saved your bar because they're never blocking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
this
true.
shit was
You have like a 12-way
best
mix,
mix-up in the
dude.
game.
I never.
But you
I've
would
never
still see
seen
level 3
somebody
into level 1 a
make-
lot for the kill, but
Nah,
Yeah.
yo, in Japan, bro, they didn't even do the mix. It just snapped.
Yeah, and when
Yeah,
they
that's
did
how
the mix,
strong
they had,
that
like,
was. It's like, well, I can snap for free.
You know,
There was
Got
the-
spirit bombed into snap, bro.
Because listen,
Like,
know the craziest
when you're
part about
holding
that?
a level 3 mix up, there was a slight chance you might interact with your opponent. So there was no point in that. You just snap them.
Yeah, you get 250-50.
the craziest part about that is that they had like 8 different mix-ups. That was a 50-50.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
The real way, but the real question is, do you guys still get PTSD?
Nah.
From GT Goku?
I mean, it's been so long since we've seen like
But
GT.
it's a birth of new PTSD though. He does a quarter circle back, and you're like, "Fuck."
Thank you, people of the universe. That don't echo in your head, like Professor Oak used to say.
Nah,
It
not
always-
He's using
really.
he's using their powers in different ways now, bro.
Like, also, GT Goku was really annoying in the moment, but I liked the character himself. Like, I think GT Goku is cool.
I never really liked
think
him.
he's
I
fun
just
to
played
play.
him.
Well, teach their own. But I actually like the character. I remember when he released, a lot of people were upset because they're like, this should have just been Super Saiyan 4, or they just didn't.
100%.
They just didn't give a fuck about Kid Goku.
Well, they tried to kill 3 birds with 1 stone.
And
with,
they made
GT Goku.
They made the mistake
and
of trying to
Super
please
Saiyan 4.
everybody, and ended up pleasing a lot less people than they could have.
Pleasing pretty much no one at that point, because like the Kid Goku, like who want the actual Dragon Ball Kid Goku, weren't happy with him. People who just want GT weren't happy that, or like the only way you get to use like the Super Saiyan forms is just with his level 1. And then there's people like myself who just wanted like just a standalone Super Saiyan 4 character.
So you know my problem with it?
Yeah.
His tail never turned yellow when he turned Super Saiyan.
That's what you're upset about.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie, they did us justice in the future though.
You weep, bro.
Oh, wait, please
why
talk
are
to
you
us.
even still here? You have nothing to contribute.
Hey, let my nigga cut. Wow.
And you're ugly.
Damn.
Not the soundboard, dude.
That's OD.
Like
Wait, you gonna take that, bro?
Wait, go on.
What?
You gonna let him say that to you, bro?
He said,
you gotta hit him with the.
Nah.
My man said.
Don't worry, I'll see Wade soon. I'll see Wade soon.
No, but like this nigga forget that it's fucking 2:30 a.m.
Why would I even know what time it is over there? Your place is not real.
It's a 5-hour difference from you, dude. Come on.
It's not real over there.
Time zones are crazy.
Bro said you are not worth exerting the mental capacity it would take for him to come up with a
Nitro
clapback at
discovers
2:30
time
in the
zone. More
morning,
news
bro.
at 5.
Yeah,
Or
the
do that.
sacrifices I made to be here today. I had to wake up at 7 a.m. Can you believe that?
I know, bro. I had to wake up at 5 p.m. Like, fuck, man. Like,
I actually woke up like 30 minutes ago.
I'm just happy to be here.
yeah, no,
Damn.
y'all know me, and I know Pred been trying to hit me up for games and shit, and every day he hit me up. I reply like 4 or 5 hours later,
Right,
like,
nobody
hey, bro,
wants
I
to
just
play
woke
you.
up. Hey, I'll play with my look. I do not currently have the game installed on any platform, but I will reinstall it to play with Pred.
Which game?
This game.
This game.
Which game?
The game we've been talking about. By the way.
Dragon Ball FighterZ.
You could have switched up on me real quick, all right?
You mean we haven't been talking about Mario Party this whole time?
Damn.
Listen, dude. Mario Wonder's coming out, and I am so fucking ready.
I will watch anybody in here Mario Party.
No, Nitro. No, Zane is definitely the best person I've ever seen.
Nah.
He is such a sweat. Like
you haven't seen Pokemon God.
I will.
Listen. I'm gonna say this in front of all of you, dude. I have noticed far and wide ranges that fighting game players suck at everything but fighting games. Except
I can play real games.
Okay, hold on. Cloud. So it's.
I'm a Gears of War player, so
yeah, I was gonna say Inzem.
And Inzem is a god at Gears. He gets an asterisk.
When are we gonna do that Sonic Adventure race that we talked about a while ago?
Speedrun one, dude. I am so down.
So what I'm hearing is when is the Zane versus Hook Mario Party money match?
I have money on Hook. I'm sorry. He does it for a living. He literally does it for a living.
Hold on.
As a gamer, when I played League of Legends, I was on the number 2 ladder team. So like,
speak on it.
Jake, nobody
Cloud,
cares.
I
That's
take particular issue.
So in other words, you niggas is getting washed in Project L is what he's saying.
Can we jump Nitro?
Listen, I have 10k hours at arena shooters, FPS, which was my background before I started.
My man playing all the Quake.
Yeah, listen, man. You want to try that shit at
Kyle,
Quake?
when's Apex, bro? What's happening?
Anyways.
Apex. I mean...
Niggas is not seeing me connect 4, bro.
Nah,
hold on. Wait. Pred's kind of nasty. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait,
I mean, at this point,
he actually did
since
beat me too. I'm not gonna lie.
Run the marbles. What's up? Y'all not seeing me.
Anyways, I wanted to ask y'all a question before we keep getting too off topic. What's the most out of pocket character for everyone right now in this current version? Like, it's just like, yeah, you're doing way too much. It's like if I had to compete against this, I'd rather just not play. Like, everyone has that one character.
I
was gonna say I have actually been playing someone trying to abuse GT Goku.
Go thanks, bro.
I haven't seen enough characters yet, but it might be GT Goku.
Wait, do y'all want to go down the list just so we can hear everybody's opinion?
Yeah, go down the list.
All right, so Cloud, you already said GT, right?
Yeah, it's free, dude. 3 invincible moves back to back that end on 0 and block. I call an assist, or I do beam into super dash and 50-50. It's fucked up, man. All right, next.
He felt very strongly about that one.
I'll say GT, but at the same time, I still wouldn't say he's the best in the game.
No, that's fair. They don't have to
Yeah,
be the best.
no,
They just be
yeah.
like you're doing.
Yeah, they don't have to
Fully-
coincide.
Okay, but he's definitely AIDS. So yeah, GT.
He's eight.
Are we talking about most toxic character in the game or
Yeah,
something?
yeah.
Or that you fight
Okay.
and you're like, this fucking, I hate this shit. I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Okay, I know mine already then.
All right, Inzem. I think it's
You're like
I'm
his own name.
chill. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I gotta give it to Beerus or Cell because that's actually no. Wait, hello, Nappa. The fuck?
Yeah, I was gonna say Nappa should be yours.
No, it's literally Nappa. No,
I'll let you in on a secret, Inzem. You don't gotta worry about that shit if you play GT Goku. I'm just saying.
Right? Like, also Inzem -5 friend points for that because you're a weirdo.
Hello.
You called yourself Inzem in third person for vibes.
Oh, because I'm going down the list, bro. Jake.
I know. He is not talking.
Jesus Christ.
We're exposing ourselves, Nitro. You want to go down that route?
Oh yeah, you gotta beat
You want to go down this
smash.
route?
Oh my
I know you
God.
don't want to go down this route, bro.
Nitro has went down the list attacking everyone here at least once.
Right? Anyway,
No,
Jake.
no.
All right, Jake.
Yeah, so I gotta go after this, but I would say after fighting Garlic Bread so much, it's gotta be Krillin or Baby. Like it's up in the air between those two, especially with
Baby's
the
a
Krillin
good one.
changes. Dude.
Fair.
Baby
Krillin
like,
changes are disgusting.
Krillin is so he's it. I think everybody's sleeping on him. I think that character is top 5, like easy.
That's I can see it with the assist at least. No.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
because he's so well rounded. He's
One
like, he's
assist.
safe. He's got so much shit. Yeah, his assist is the best in the game. But yeah, I gotta go, guys. Have fun discussing the rest.
All right,
Jake.
AJ.
One,
Tell
thank you.
Monica I said hi.
I will. Don't worry, Johnny. She knows.
And she's stupid.
Whoa, that's mean.
Damn. It's spreading. It's spreading. Wow, the hatred is spreading.
I already called her bloodline weak, bro. I don't think I can do worse.
Bloodline week. Now that's a good one. I'm stealing that.
How about it?
Take it easy, Jack.
Fred, what about you?
Nah, I don't play the game enough to know.
Oh, brother. Of
Respectable.
course.
I literally don't know.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It's a don't go on right now.
You haven't contributed anything thus far, so I'm not surprised.
Inzem,
Yeah,
Lotus,
I know.
ugly.
It is
Lotus.
spreading.
Fucking hell.
Lotus?
I think Lotus
Yeah,
is still lagging. So just go
I'm
ahead.
lagging,
Come on,
so I'm
talk to
sure
you,
my
bro.
voice is coming through to y'all mad delayed. I'm sure I was quiet there for
Yeah.
a smooth ass second, but regardless, I'm kind of with Pred on this right now, where
Yeah.
honestly, because I just genuinely have not been enjoying the game that much, even from my casual perspective, I haven't been playing it a lot. Like I already just said, like I literally don't have the game installed anywhere at the moment because I just wasn't having fun, so I uninstalled it. So I can't say that I played on this patch enough to have a singular character that I feel like now is like my new kryptonite or the new one that I hate. I guess it's like the characters I hate have always been the characters I hate. Like I still fucking hate Vegito. I still can't stand Broly, and niggas ain't even particularly necessarily top 1 anymore. But like it's still just fuck the niggas forever. I will say though, Jiren been giving a nigga hands when I have played, so I don't really have any particular feelings against Jiren, but that nigga been fucking my shit up.
Hey.
Wait.
Not
What?
like where that was going.
Listen. Anyway, yeah, no, Jiren been giving the nigga hands, bro. So all I know is that he got to be one of the stronger characters in the game.
Yeah,
right
it
now.
sounds like he giving you more than that.
I'm about to give you more than that. Nigga, keep on. I was right.
What?
Hey, don't promise Nitro with a good time. Don't threaten him with a good time.
Let's stay on topic. Let's stay on topic. Nitro.
I already
Thank you
said
for the new
I
sound
already said
clip, bro.
GT.
Right, GT. Well,
Wait, you said who, Nitro?
I am.
GT
I was
so far.
because I was definitely going to agree and point out it'd be weird if no one else mentioned it, but I cannot stand Jiren at the moment. I'm going to say like they gave him a 1-button DP before Street Fighter 6 with that 2L.
I thought you were gonna say 2S.
And that shit. No, dude.
2S.
How about
Listen,
every
man.
single bro?
It might be because we're still in like a delay-based hell. But dealing with Jiren 2L still gives me fucking.
No, it won't change.
Nah, I'm of the opinion that Jiren 12 is one of the
especially because
absolute
you can
best
reverse
buttons in the
speed it now
entire
for
game.
5M.
Yeah, I hate that shit so much. I hate
It
it
is
so
probably
much.
the best button in the game currently.
Yeah.
It's what, -2? Mad pushback? Oh shit.
Can be
Big
reversed.
ass hitbox, reverse speed, medium scale.
two
Yeah, he
different
needed
moves.
that.
I'm not gonna lie, hitting that move makes me feel good about myself.
No, don't get me wrong.
It makes me feel awful when I get hit by.
I assume Jiren players feel the same way when they hit it too well as I did hitting fucking EX spin with lab coat. This guy's got to be the same fucking feeling.
The dopamine receptors are happy.
Nah, you know what really pisses me off about Jiren? When they super dash at you and then do J2S and they feel so nice.
Bro, you know what I call that move, Cloud? That move is just zero buster.
Yeah, you damn, that's a strong ass statement, just dog. Buster. That's a strong ass statement.
All right, Seyhan.
I think it's gonna be like Jiren, Gotenks, and if you look at it from an offline perspective, I feel like Ginyu is gonna be a huge problem.
Ginyu is the
because
truest
on
darkness
PC,
in
it's
this
way easier
entire
to block,
game.
but on PS4,
The
don't
only
think
reason I
it's
didn't
gonna
see
block.
Ginyu actually is because they nerfed him. They
The body
nerfed his
change?
the way he can't go into body change off of Goldo anymore.
Dude, that was I can't believe they did that.
cannot believe they did
I
that.
honestly still can't believe that either.
Damn, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
not
only
gonna
reason.
lie though, like him negative edging Jace though is crazy, bro. He's like running at you with
He's got some
Walmart
annoying-
Vegito assist.
He's definitely got some crazier combos, but it's like you're gonna have to spend another 5 years labbing them to get them all down because a lot of them are manually timed.
That is true.
Yeah, but I feel like you shouldn't really factor in execution to a character's strength because at some point it's not going to be a factor. Like look at Garlic Bread.
Yeah, that's fair.
So one thing that's actually
Oh.
no, I was just saying like one thing that's actually really interesting that what you said though, Seyhan, is I've noticed like on Twitter and stuff, your entire region's kind of been going through it with Jiren and Gotenks specifically. You're not the first I've seen from that side of the world complain about like those two together actually.
Who be playing them over there?
I don't know who plays that. Who's doing it to you with those characters?
I feel like many like French players, not like Wade, Yasha, but the not so well known French players are playing like the show Jiren and Gotenks
Brave?
a lot.
Yeah, Brave.
And yeah, Brave was one of them, and I feel like I wasn't like necessarily getting like completely destroyed by those characters, but I feel like if I'm pressuring them, I'm like one challenge away to literally die because his twirl is 7 frames, and if they're like near the corner, they can do the side switch into basically kill me from one singular challenge, and that just feels like very disgusting to play against. And Gotenks Beyblading and crossing your sides over and over again is so annoying.
They didn't fix his special bug is crazy to me. That he could do Beyblade, Die Missile Barrage, and then 2 more specials is fucking crazy.
He caught it a bug.
He can Beyblade out and then just
yeah.
Yeah, he Beyblades out and you can do beam from that, which you can hit confirm into Super Dash, into relaunch, into I hate this character.
Into Ghost of
Again, I'm lagging, so I'm sorry if I'm cutting somebody off
you
right
ain't gonna
now,
sit
but
there
I
and tell me
definitely
him doing
got
four
Gotenks Beyblade as another one of the top 10 special moves in the game. That character is also really stupid right now.
Oh yeah.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, true.
Easily. Just everything it does. But you're not gonna sit there and tell me that shit ain't a bug, dude. That you can Beyblade into 3 more specials.
Nah, that's hype. Can't lie.
That is not hype, but it is pretty funny.
That is hype.
It's
it's very obnoxious, which in my opinion feels right for the character that's literally a little ass kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lore accurate.
Like if anyone were to have it, I think it makes sense for him to have it.
Yeah, but when I have 8 invincible options, you guys Goku, I'm the problem.
Yes.
Wait, did
I'll drink to that, dude.
Did Wade say who's his most annoying character is yet?
No, that was the next.
Yeah.
Because they just keep taking because you can barely use the 6S in combos anymore.
Wait, what's your most annoying character, and why is it 18? That's my hard read.
Why is it 18?
Nah. I play 18. I love 18 right now, but
I tell you, she's lit.
I think
self-admitted crackhead.
Nah, it might be good things. Like I'm fucking tired to take one random spin and take like Ghost Oki and die after that.
My fault.
Because I just take like a beam, random beam,
that's
or
not
spin
hype.
and
That's not hype.
combo. No, that's not hype. Like, fucking 6 special moves in one combo. Yeah.
Sounds hype to me.
That's hype to me.
I think I hate it more because Gotenks just destroy hit stance. I can't hit him because the tracking is so bad. I can't hit him. So
it's
just moron.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Seeing a hit enjoy your crying is giving me life right now.
Why do American players hate hits so fucking much? I'll never get it, bro. That character is
They don't know how to play the matchup.
It's because you niggas don't laugh.
Wait, we don't.
It's not
let me explain.
American
Let me explain.
players.
Hold up. Let me explain. We don't hate hit. We hate hit players. There's a difference.
No, that's
I don't know, man. I would go to a pub with Raptr and get shit face hammered with it.
Hell yeah, we still gotta fucking do that, man. I was too flat out at Evo. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know why you said Americans. Like, no, if you do not play hit, you do not fuck with hit.
Nah,
that
that's
is, like,
true. Because I
everyone
remember
knows
even
the
Walla
character's
was
scrubby.
bitching about
Like,
that
it's literally
character,
the
saying
guilty
he
gear
was top
rule. If
5
it's
and
not
shit.
your character, you don't like it.
Also,
Shit makes
correct
no
me if I'm
sense.
wrong. Wasn't it it was before Worlds, or it was before the big tournament, and it was Wade. I believe you were over. Was it with Daniel? And you were just fucking cooking everyone, and the NA players were still like, "No, this character's fake. Don't worry. The tournament's gonna roll around, and we're gonna fucking just crush him. It'll be fine."
He was waking up full frame every single knockdown. He thought he was good.
Every time.
No, that's why I pick O things. Try that shit again. See what happens.
Bro, look at the VOD. Look at the VODs on my YouTube, right?
See what happens.
Bro, every match Wade is playing, he's literally just wake up 4th frame, and then he just wins the game off that.
I had to pick Blue Goku after like 3 months of not playing the character to fight that. I was like, this is impossible.
Bro, I had to. Like they give me that shit, so I use it. I still do it with HP.
No, you're actually spitting. If they give me this shit, if they didn't want me to abuse it, they wouldn't have given it to me.
He said, "I'm playing the game I'm supposed to be playing."
Unfortunately, he is.
But when
That's
Cell,
the worst part.
when Cell does it,
yes.
Listen, yeah.
But when
Yeah,
Cell, okay.
You see, now we got to deal with that shit in fucking a die. Like there's no guessing after. There's no next character.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to this in like 8 frames of rollback. By the way,
you're-
so
when
when it
you're
actually
health
looks
barred.
like he's time skipping.
It's gonna
When
be
he's
legendary.
there's
Yo,
no
that's
animation.
gonna be
He's just
so
behind
hype.
you. Yeah, it's gonna be so hype. Can't wait.
But Zane, what's yours? What's your?
Yeah,
Let's
last
go
but not
G4.
least.
Let's go G4.
My two that I hate saying, one, because if I go about time, freaking Krillin is an abomination right now. And the other one is Cell, because I hate always being 4 frame and vulnerable move away from an actual TOD.
Puts you in the 50-50.
I honestly, I love the EX perfect attack because it's funny.
No, it's funny. It's funny if you're the one doing it, but
really
if you're
funny.
anywhere near the character, you either get hit for doing literally anything, and guess what? There's 80%, like 70% of your health gone without supers.
They did not adjust the scale.
And if they block it, it's a left, right, high, low. It's like
That's-
what? It's like
I mean,
It does like light DP anti-air scaling,
Wait,
but it's a frame 4.
let's be honest. Put yourself in that situation. Not our fault. Come on.
What?
Go
Listen,
on.
man, if it gets Cell at another Evo finals,
it's not my fault that Beerus keeps getting buffed and everyone keeps blaming me anyways.
Yes, it is.
Well, we need
Yes, it
listen,
is.
Zane. We need someone to blame, and you play Beerus, so that's good enough for me.
Beerus is one of the best freaking characters in this game, and I'm still the only one playing the damn cat.
Why
So
is
you gotta
that,
keep
by
it
the
in
way?
the
Can we
scale,
talk
right?
about that?
Sorry.
Why? Because this nigga
I don't
been
know what
this
to
nigga's
tell
been
ya.
strong for a minute now, and he keep getting better. And I'm not seeing enough niggas talk about it. And I'm not saying
He's weird,
I'm not
bro.
saying he need to get his claws
He's
clipped or nothing
weird,
like that.
bro.
but-
No one
feels
wants
like-
All right. I'm gonna keep it a buck with
ran out of
y'all.
ideas.
No
they
one
ran out
wants
of
to-
ideas on how to make him good besides just having free 50-50s and plus frames.
What were we gonna say, Inzem? Say what you gonna say?
No, I don't think
Yeah,
anyone willing
sorry.
to try to play a character that main game plan is to play with balls. Like no one's trying to
I
do
mean,
that.
I already played Jacko, so
Anyway,
I'm basically halfway there.
I have one last question. I
And
want
he's a fucking weirdo. Like he's just the way he works.
I'm
To be fair, I'm also a weirdo, so
I'm
it kinda
fucking
matches.
dying and exploding over here. So as much as I would love this to continue, I know it's getting super late for the EU boys, and well, it's very early for Raptr. But regardless, before my stream actually
don't got
fucking
shit to do
collapses,
tomorrow,
I have
bro. They're EU.
one last question. I'd like to go through the line and ask everyone about. Who do you guys think is actually still like really lacking in this patch? Then, like, who do you think is the weakest character? Or the character still in need
UI
of more help?
Goku
You
is probably
UI.
My, this is why I like
UI.
this is why
They took his success away.
They took everything from him. They took
I can
everything
co-sign
from
that.
him.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. This is like the one patch where I'm kind of on some like he might need the bus driver back.
Bro, he needs everything back,
dog,
bro.
yeah, give him
He needs
everything.
Give him 2
That's the funniest shit about like certain characters get nerfed is that because of the direction the game has gone, you get all this power creep, and now we're at a point where like the game is so fucking ridiculous. It's like a lot of characters. It's like, hey, yo, Loki, he need that shit back at this point. You know what I'm saying? And UI, I guess, kind of falls in that category.
What is the one SpongeBob meme? Every morning I break my arms, every night I break my legs. That's UI right now.
Not the SpongeBob, dude.
All right, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, especially among like the more casual audience. This might sound crazy, but I think Base Goku still sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
Like he needs help.
Still sucks. Yamcha still sucks.
Every patch, there's always those like it's just Twitter memes of like someone just does a really high damage super. Just at the end, like way back when Hit got the cannon, there were so many fucking tweets of people you just like in Spark, 5H command grab, and a level 7 will TOD. I have still never landed that once in an actual match.
And I've been hit by it.
They're just Twitter clips. They're just Twitter clips.
I've been hit by it.
I have to ask this because I've been told this by a couple people that I would never have guessed it would happen. It would come from opinions on Bardock right now.
Bottom one.
He's in the retirement.
I love Bardock, but
I actually think he's the worst character in the game. Like on
it's because I play him. I'm black, so you know how that
he's strong now, and I'm like, how in the hell is he strong now?
I'll put it like this.
I play the nigga, so
I
he
can
gotta be
find a
trash.
reason.
You know what I'm saying? Also, Trunks is still overrated. I'm just gonna hit that out there. No, fuck you, suck my dick, bitch.
I can find like about this one. At least one reason to put any character in this game on a team and actually be like, yeah, you might not be trolling with how like this works because they're actually contributing something, except for Bardock.
Yeah, I can say
he's better, but still bad.
Yeah, UI good, bro. He can give you beam assist, a DP, a level 2. Like he's actually giving you something. What's Bardock giving you? Not on DHC.
Depression usually.
Depression. That's what
he don't give you no assist. He don't give you no level 3 mix.
Key blast.
I mean, he just plays a solid game, to be honest, compared to what he was.
He's just he's obsolete and outdated at this point. The nigga's still just too
basic. I don't think he's bottom one. I'll still give bottom one to UI for sure.
Back in my day, I was on every
I'm down
team
with
at
giving
UI.
UI bottom one.
Of course you are, bro. You've been spreading the gospel for how long?
Bro, I've been right this whole time.
Dog, I'm super torn on bottom one. I got like UI Yamcha Trunks down there.
I don't even think Yamcha's like. I think Yamcha's at least.
They didn't give him back old Wolfang Fist. Like what?
That is true.
I got Yamcha, Bardock, and Base Goku down there for the possible.
When we say down there, we're talking C, B, D. Like, what are we saying?
So character power in this game is so high that I don't know if there's an actual like tier, but whatever you consider the bottom tier to be, it could be fucking B or A. I don't think it matters that much.
C or D tier for me, dude. I don't do none of that hand holding A minus, A+ shit.
You tell him.
That A minus stuff is corny to me. I agree.
Yeah, like what do you mean S++? Remember the Goichi tier list with like S++? I was like, Goichi.
I think the relevance of that is because it's to show, and I think this is especially important for like the casual or like lesser knowledgeable or informed or experienced players that look at this type of stuff. It's to show that like, no, these aren't necessarily awful characters, and like obviously we're gonna talk about them a certain way, right? But I feel like the way that we speak on things has a lot of influence over how a lot of other people view or play the game. And so when you say, oh, this character's F tier, right, because they're the worst character in the game, it's like, oh, this character's completely fucking unplayable. And like to you or I, that might be the case, especially if you're playing in a tournament. Yeah, no one wants to play fucking Base Goku, but like 99% of people who can go online, have plenty of fun, and win most of their games while playing Base Goku. He's not actually that bad. And I think that's why it's important or relevant to have like, oh, an A- or a B tier, or have your lowest tier not be F or D when in a game like this or like a Street Fighter 6 or whatever, the overall character power is so high. That's why I think something like that matters and is actually important.
Yeah, I think like if you compare current Base Goku to, let's say, you back up until like season 3, right? The S tier of that will probably get fucked up by Base Goku right now. Like clearly he has different mechanics working for him and stuff, but like he would be a menace. And like the health hasn't changed, right? Like yeah, maybe the baseline before was like what 3.2 if you're a cheater, maybe 3.5 for like a mid-screen solo combo, right? And like, oh, if you could do anything more, oh, you're S tier. Like that's a really high reward. You don't have extra more health than you did back then, but like Base Goku can do like what 4K solo. Like that's what I mean. Where I actually think like the list, the letters start mattering because like the tier, like obviously in comparison to the rest of the cast, he's like below everyone else. But in the grand scheme of the game, he's still like even the worst still has like Bardock is still like lariating at you with his original lariat. We're not same minus range, but he can gel into it with vanish, into mixing you into doing 4K, right? Like you compare that to any other season of S tier, like that's OD as fuck. That's why at least I think the letters matter. Like
you still have to look at like base Goku still does like 20 frame grab into now like a level 1 spirit bomb.
Yeah,
level 2 spirit bomb. Which is like in a vacuum, you look at that and it's like, well, that's fucked up. But you just look at the rest of the cast and you go,
and then you zoom out and you're like, oh wait, GT's right there. Never mind.
Welcome to the world where every character is now doing 7K off of a medium starter with supers. Everyone's building 2 bars minimum on a combo, and that basically everyone now has the things that made characters OP in previous seasons.
Not everyone's building 2 bars.
A lot of characters are building 2 bars.
Damn near everyone. I'm gonna be honest.
Even Tien is building 2 bars.
For the characters that have the meter nerf, basically every character is building 2 bars.
Speaking of, real quick, why does Tien get half a bar from volleyball fist?
Yo, son, he needs it apparently.
He gets the bar back he spends.
That's actually mad easy, so we can have fun.
Cloud, you know, if I was just like when we were talking earlier, I just realized it. So like if you do the EX Rekka thing, if you just frame the last hit, it doesn't take meter.
Exactly, because he builds half a bar, but he loses that half bar. That's what I'm saying.
I think the idea is they want you to be able to EX into literally 7 bars.
Also, that shit is not a real just frame, by the way. It is way too easy.
No, it's not. I don't even know what to call that.
Yeah,
it's Dragon Ball's equivalent.
Right, that shit got a decent amount of leeway because I definitely
that thing got like 20 minutes.
I like first tried it and I was like, oh, you just push it, you just get the bar. Now I didn't even realize like, oh, you're supposed to quote unquote time it. I was like, nigga, it's kind of
cap. It's what I would call cap.
He said, I just pressed the button and it worked.
No, literally, because when I read the change, I did it, and right away I got it. I was like, oh, okay, then he needed that, I guess, and I moved on. But I was like, oh, it's supposed to be a just frame, so to speak.
Difficult, by the way. But that's the part of the game.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the game's MO and agenda has always been low skill floor, and it's just continuing to go further and further down that path, which, in my opinion, a lot to its detriment in a lot of ways, but you know, it being accessible and as homogenous as possible has just been what it's been doing every single patch since the beginning. So,
yeah, my problem less is the rising of the floor. My problem is the lowering of the ceiling.
I feel you on that for sure.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
I think there will always be some kind of ceiling that doesn't detract too far, simply because, like, as much crazy shit as you have to throw at your opponent. With the like high mobility in the game, technically you will still always be able to avoid it, but that is getting like the gap of being able to do so is definitely getting narrower and narrower.
Yeah, but then there's always going to be a ceiling. It's just getting to the point where just random buttons you throw out, doesn't matter how high the ceiling your ceiling was before. Like I said, I'd just bring a perfect attack again. Doesn't matter how good your movement is. That thing's going to have to scream. So it's reverse comment. Doesn't matter how good your movement is to dodge that reverse comment. He's going to just do it again. The
reduction of the skill gap, I would say, is what gets me a lot. It's like it's one thing for things to be easier to do. It's like, oh, like everyone's combos in this game are really easy, but for like the game in general to just be easier. Just because everything just comes so naturally or like so effortlessly or so thoughtlessly. It's like, damn, so you really they really meant it when they said they want anyone to be able to pick up this game and win, bro. Like
anyone can.
That's why I said earlier though, like that's what I said earlier at the beginning of the conversation, right? Like, is it really shocking if we got a new player to come up from the scene and win tournaments, like a complete new player?
Okay, so
is it really that far?
I did still want to have that conversation if people are still going to be around for a bit to have it. But the whole idea of like newer players coming up, because that's absolutely going to be the case, because we've already seen it, right? It's like so my whole thing is that like, will we see newer players like take the place or like take the throne? Will new players come through and be good? Yeah, because I mean, season 1, the best players in America were Hook, Sage, Sonic, Nakul, you know what I'm saying? And at this point, it's who? Inzem, Pred, Nitro, you know what I'm saying? So we've already seen the old guard get replaced, and it's as long as the game is continuing to survive and have players and be at events, that will continue to be the case. And that's why I say players like Akari or Garlic Bread are gonna, you know, come in and they'll probably be the new top dogs if people who are in this call don't continue to play it at the highest level. You know what I'm saying? So also I did
Yeah,
my
Brad.
fault, Zane. I didn't even say you in the call, and I didn't even say your name when I was saying the top players. I just default to the East Coast niggas. My fault, but you know I got mad level of respect for you, dog.
He plays Beerus. It's alright.
Nah, but you know what I'm saying. So like
I think we all understand.
I think that obviously will continue to be the case. And you know, obviously, I want to continue to see the game succeed, even if I don't personally enjoy it. After everything all the fun and memories I've had and created with this game, all the content that I've made, as long as I play, like 5.5 years is a big chunk of like anyone's life. You know what I'm saying? And so this game's always gonna have a special place in my heart, no matter how I feel about it right now, or even if I continue to play it. So I want to continue to see it succeed. And so I hope that even people in this call continue to play it. But even if they don't, I know there will be people out there playing it, and you know, eventually there will be other players who do eventually rise to the top.
Yeah. The reason I bring it up, somebody mentioned as well. Like I don't know if he was watching Wanted the other day, but there's a guy named, I think it's Skyfox, that mentioned in my chat. He's 7-1 Yasha.
I saw that actually, yeah, because Yasha was trying. Yasha was trying some weird shit. Who was he playing? He was
he tried like 5 different teams.
Yeah,
different teams, and then he swapped to his main one at the very end, and he still got wrecked.
Yeah, no, he was kind of getting busted up. I ain't gonna lie.
It's still Yasha at the end of the day, though, right? Like that's
that's not taking nothing away from Yasha. It's like, oh, this kid is just that nice, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what team was he playing? This kid that one.
Jiren, Ginyu, and I forgot.
Yeah, some real current shit.
You could
I think it was like Krillin or
But I think it was Krillin. I think because I've heard of him before. I think he was already a Krillin player. I don't know what his team was before, but I'm pretty sure he used to already play Krillin, and then like his shit just got even better. So
yeah, Jiren, Ginyu, Krillin.
The one thing I will say though about like the whole new age of like newer players, which is definitely going to happen, like as is the lifespan of every game, realistically, right? But I don't think they're going to get really that much credit, no matter what they do at that point, because of the state of the game.
Right, because we see that even now though, whether it's the state of the game or just the fact that other players are around. Because I've seen a fair share of discrediting coming around to like a lot of you guys in this call, because if Sonic was still playing the game, or if Kazunoko and Goichi were still playing the game, you know what I'm saying? You niggas would be, hello Gendion.
Hey, welcome back.
But yeah, I've seen a lot of downplay, and like to some degree I understand, because of the current state of the game. I too at times am guilty of saying like, well, I don't know, because like I feel like like we already said, the skill gap's been reduced, the skill ceiling has been lowered a bit, and so it's like when you argue, is like, well, is Wawa at his peak last year as good at the game as like Sonic and Goichi were in season 1? And it's like hard to compare because the games are so different. Like even though it's the same game, it's like it's different meta, different meta, like different mechanics. And shit. Yeah, it's literally like that. It's like trying to compare LeBron to Jordan. It's like certain niggas is going to have their opinion. They're going to be stuck on that, and there's no way you're going to be able to convince them otherwise.
You saw Sonic.
It ain't stopping people from doing it. That's for sure.
Yeah,
you saw Sonic play. There's the thing though. If you saw Goichi play in their prime, and then you stop watching the game, and then you start seeing Wawa dominate, you're like, nah, Goichi would have washed. Like it's, it's always gonna be that way. That's just what happens with different
living in the other person's shadow.
It would always be like that. You're never gonna be better. You're never gonna be better than that person I first saw dominant. So
the cool part about comparing the two metas though, I would wager that if Wawa played in the meta of season 2 and Goichi played, Goichi would still block everything. But if Goichi played in the meta that Wawa was dominant with all these 50-50s, he would not have been able to block all that because they're 50-50s.
I mean, Wawa did play in season 2 and Goichi was still cooking.
We did a set of them on YouTube.
He's still cooked, but you're not going to see it.
Sure.
But you're just not going to see these 60 seconds long worth of blocking.
Yeah,
there was a brief period though where Wawa was playing them around. It was more of like the tail end of it. It was back when Wawa made his name by beating Kazunoko.
Yeah, when he won.
That, fadeaway base.
No, they have a whole first to 10 on
then he won UFA later that year.
Yeah.
He had to run the fucking gauntlet too. He beat Sonic Fox, but then lost to Goichi because he was supposedly.
We bet knew Wawa was nice though, because he was at UFA year 1 of the game, right? I'm pretty sure he made top 8. I think he lost to Nakul that year, but he was nasty.
To Wawa's credit,
Wawa was on like the French national team for KOF 13 when he was like 8 years
he was mad good at KOF.
The kid's just a monster at fighting games.
He grew up on that shit, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Like as a kid, he grew up on that shit.
I'm pretty sure it was like
I will
his father
say though
played.
But for the sake of the argument, I just want to mention that they definitely did play around the same time. I think this is around the time where Wawa did win that tournament over Kazunoko, but There is a set on YouTube of them playing a 1st to 10. Like they sat down and both played their main teams, and like yeah, it was 10-1. That shit wasn't close, but that actually is kind of crazy because he's fresh off a tournament when then he got 10-1. But
wait, Kazunoko 10-1 him?
Yeah.
No, Goichi 10-1 him.
Oh, Goichi.
Like this is fresh off Wawa beating or winning his tournament. Then that happened. That's
how you know that's when you're just outclassed. Like
we could go back to like UFA. I mean, this past year, right? We saw Goichi play and Wade still beat him, or was it Yasha?
But see, when you start talking about things like that, it's like obviously
Yasha lost, but then Wade beat him.
See, it's like it's hard to compare though, because obviously I would say Goichi was a lot better at the game season 1 and 2 than he is at any of the last couple of years because.
Sure. No,
yeah, the amount of time and practice, you know what I'm saying?
He won the Arx's World Finals for DNF Duel.
So like, I don't think, and I don't know if this is what you're trying to say, but like, you know, whoever it is, whether it be Wade, Yasha, Hikari, Pred, Inzem, like someone beating Goichi or Sonic in the last 2 years is not the same as beating them season 1 or 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wasn't.
Like being in practice to the point where you are the best of the best in any of these games, especially now.
Right.
It takes so
much time. Like Goichi literally gave himself tendinitis from how like furiously he was practicing like every fucking option select in the game so he could block and everything and escape every command grab, and you know what I'm saying, anything that wasn't a true actual guess 50-50, like he's not getting
is that actually true?
Huh?
Is that where his hand injury came from?
I'm pretty certain, yeah. It was from all those, well, it was from playing games, but it's just like the amount of practice he put in everything he was doing. I'm pretty sure that's why he got tendinitis.
No, it's because he plays. It's because his goofy ass plays stick.
No, he said it. He said that he worked on that every situation in the game, and the only thing that opened him was the character that he doesn't know. Like that's how when I played him, he has like 5 times my level, but I still smoked him because I play hit, and he has no hit in Japan, so he gets fucked by it.
Hit player admitting to being carried.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of hit players. There's
some big fucking shoulders.
What's the name? Ikowan, and I think Mame Spider played some hit. But yeah, but I mean, not to say that they on the level of like a Wade or a
Nah, he can't play.
Kefla Blue Gogeta.
He can't play his hit like he plays SSJ Goku.
Now for sure. There's definitely
at Worlds when Fenrich knew he was fighting Wade, I literally watched Fenrich lab for 3 hours before they would fight the finals to lab hits.
Wade is sitting here sleeping. I'm like, bro.
And like even when Tachikawa played hit, he didn't play hit the same way that like you guys play hit. So.
No, they don't play hit. Like the first time when Fenrich came for the finals for the Japan qualifier, we played on free play, and I just 10-1 him. He didn't understand anything about the new hit. It was like, what the fuck's happening? Every situation was like, well, what the fuck?
He's getting memed.
And then I think just lab the character like Hidden Genemba. He labbed them for like 2 hours alone on screen. That was just.
That's actually the issue with Japan to begin with. Like they find their top tiers and they're just like, all right, everyone else
stick with that shit.
Whatever.
They're very stubborn on changing their meta.
They get memed, bro.
They stick to that 100%.
Because even whatchamacallit, Taco, he was telling me, he was just like, yeah, you know, you should have played 18, right? He was like, we have no idea what to do against that character. Like he's like at all. He's like they have literally 0 18 players. And then I seen Kane pick 18 against Fenrich as just a last ditch effort, and he did EX 17 and Fenrich kept holding tag. I'm like, yo, like what?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I mean, it does extend a bit even beyond Japanese play. Like if you recall Jilla picking Yamcha at Worlds and just washed Apology Man. It was like all green bars.
Jill at that point, he literally told me while we're at Worlds, he told me that I'm done with this game after this. I don't like it. I'm just going to play the character I want to play here.
You know, and that's so ironic to me because I feel like Jilla of all niggas would thrive so much in this version of the game. I don't understand that, but I digress.
No, he said he wants to play now. I saw him.
Oh, for sure. I was about to say that. Yeah. I feel like the game for him.
Like he's like the game now.
Like definitely for him.
Yeah, I played him like 2 days ago, and he loves to play the game.
I fucking bet. Yeah.
It just makes a lot of sense, right? All it does, it just makes sense.
Yeah, but like he's still mad because they're playing against my team and get fucked up by fucking EX. Invisible shit and Barrier. So he's still mad against some characters, but he play Balrog and he
I would say that's all right, bro. Joe is still a war crime for the shit he was doing for the first few years of the game, so it's gonna be alright. This is just his penance or whatever it's called. Repentance, I think is the word I'm looking for.
First, I thought you said he was trying to get his pension. I was like,
no,
what?
not his pension.
He's rolling the retirement home, the FGC retirement home.
You mean Final Fantasy 14?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm gonna lab Super Saiyan Goku. Thoughts?
Go for it.
Why are you not labbing Vegeta instead?
Because I already kind of have a pocket Vegeta, bro.
Wait, actually, I have a question. I have a question for you.
Wait, before you ask that question, I just hit 40 subs, so we gotta do offline session. This is not a choice, Daniel.
My goodness.
All right, and before you hit that question, I'm gonna grab another beer. Y'all need anything?
Yeah, can you get me a sparkling water?
I got you.
He's just like me for real.
Right, so I want to ask, was that your first offline tournament, Evo?
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. No, well,
last year.
We did last Evo.
Went to Evo. Yeah, last Evo
As
was
a competitor, excuse me. As a competitor.
Yeah, he played last year.
Yeah,
Oh,
I played 2022 Evo was my first, and then that was my first experience doing that shit, and I was like, damn, this offline shit's kind of fun because that was the first time I've ever played offline. Like I'd never even played offline because of my location. I'm in Colorado, so California motherfuckers complaining. I'm like, nigga, you don't even know, bro. But that was my first experience like offline at all. I was like, dang, this game is actually like a completely different experience playing offline compared to online.
Oh yeah.
And I got addicted to that shit. And then I found like a local out here. I went there. I think I got top 8, and I got bounced. And then I just stopped playing for like 5 months, and then I went to Evo again.
That's so vibes.
The reason why I asked is because like, would you consider yourself to be a casual? I mean, I imagine so.
The
right?
same question.
Yeah.
I guess I would be yeah, definitely actually, because the way I define what's the opposite of that? A competitive player?
Yeah.
But I am competitive, but I guess by the dictionary definition of competitive FGC player, I'm not that because I'm not registering for a bunch of tournaments. I'm not going to a bunch of offlines. I'm not like trying to get bread at tournaments. If I do go to a tournament, I'm just there to like fuck around, talk shit, and play my characters and just see what I can do. And then if I win, I'm a content creator. If I lose, I'm a content creator.
Oh, the OS, okay.
Yes, your OS.
Content creator OS is OD strong, by the way.
It's unstoppable.
It's funny though, because like niggas will call you content creator and like talk this shit. But if they win, it's like, what you so hyped for, nigga? I'm just a content creator. Like, why it matter?
Exactly.
It's the most powerful. You can use it offensively and defensively.
Nah. So
it has no weakness.
I needed to prep this because word on the street was you popped off on my man Posey when you beat him in the set.
Oh yeah, I put the pause on him.
Oh, word, you did not like this.
Okay, Posey. I ain't gonna lie. When
it was at. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like, one of my first, like, a nigga I don't think who was taking me serious at all because I was a YouTuber niggas was actually Posey. And he wasn't, like, disrespectful with it. But I think that nigga definitely thought I was going to be, like, free because I'm a YouTuber.
Like, shit was
and this shit was, you could ask him how the set went.
It was
my
me.
Goodness.
It was me. It was at one of Bum's online tournaments that I fought him. And honestly, I didn't like I just saw the chat getting super hype about him. They're like, "Oh yeah, Posey's about to put the pause on him, dude." Like in my head, I was just like, "Look, I don't know who bro is, but I'm about to put the pause on this dude. I don't know what's about to happen." But and then it happened, and then I found out, you found out
who he was,
and everything. Yeah, and then I met him in person for the first time at this last Evo, and we ran it offline. And I think he won like 3-2 or some shit. So he hasn't stopped talking about. No, I won first to 2. Talked a little shit. He was like, "All right, I gotta respect you." I was like, "Yeah, you do." And he was like, "Oh nah, fuck that, run it again."
Run it back in blood.
I think you and Posey are legitimately like around the same level, so that makes a lot of sense. I wish I had gotten to see all that.
I got a curious question, NitroPred. But when you guys first met me at the US region, did you guys think I was going to be free when you first fought me?
Oh, 100%. I was talking so much shit about you. It was crazy. I was like this.
No.
I was like, I was in Discord telling Pred. I was like, this thing is not nice.
Yo, son, Zane,
I was like, you're
if you could have seen my face restreaming that shit, because I didn't know who you were. I was like, I don't know who Zane
Are you
is.
talking about when he first fought Pred? Like my first introduction to him was when he fought Pred and he was using Zamasu.
Yeah, bro. If you could see my face when he, because like Pred, you know you my nigga, bro, but he was putting hands on you, and I was like,
you crazy.
I was like, no fucking
it's all my fault.
Ass back then.
It's all my fault.
I was talking to Yasa. I'm like, Yasa, my team had nothing to do against his team. He before the set, he was like,
I agree with you,
nah,
but I just,
he watched after. He was like, never mind.
Like I agree with you. Your team didn't really have an answer for that shit, but I just thought you was so nice, and I wasn't really familiar with Zane, so I was like, oh, and that shit just went the complete opposite of what I was expecting.
That was the first Zane match I ever watched, and I was just like, oh, he different.
But that's why I was so taken aback, because like I feel like I've been keeping my ear to the streets at DBFZ for the most part. So I'm like, how is there like a nigga this good on the West Coast, and I didn't know who he was? It is just like, yeah, he just been.
Was that your first offline?
Yeah,
that was offline. I'm not gonna lie though.
That makes sense.
Like, yeah, Nitro. I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you believed that until, and then I was like, I'm pretty sure after the first day when I was there, I mean, you played like 70 games straight. I was like, I think I won like 40% of them. I won at least a lot more.
It was actually before that. Actually, it was when you were fighting Beneath. And I was like,
oh, I was cooking.
Oh, he's actually cooking him. So I was like, I have to play this guy now.
There's a reason. There's a reason why he said my team was cheap when I fought him. When I fought him on that last day, was because the first day he's like Zane games, and I'm like, sure. I think I won like 9-1.
I was like, I'm so glad this dude did not know the Blue Goku matchup.
That was fun. That was funny. I was ready.
That actually makes a lot of sense, because to me it was mad random, Nitro, that you walked up to me and was like, yo, did you play Zane yet? And I was like, no. He was like, I want to see you play him. I'm like, why do you want to see you play somebody else? And then I played him and I'm like, this character is.
This is why you want to see me play against this
nigga. You have to play against that.
You didn't see the big red flags.
I actually think I like lost the first 2 games because I was just trying to fight Zamasu, and then I was like,
Inzem cooked me that 100%.
No, but it was my initial reaction to fighting Zamasu though. I'm like, yo, what is happening right now? Because we literally don't have a Zamasu player at the time, so I'm just like, I'm actually making the mistake of running that character down, and I'm just dying over and over again.
I think that's the beauty of this game, and like even now, more so back then, but it's just like a Zane could just pop up playing Zamasu when nobody else was really like playing Zamasu like that at that time. And just like completely make people rethink,
like reevaluate the character and shit.
How they thought about the game and the meta and like who's the best and stuff.
I feel like that shit has happened multiple times throughout this game's history too. Because like even back in season 1 when like Kazunoko picked up Yamcha, everyone was like, nigga, Yamcha, and it was like, oh, they can just super dashes plus assist or DP plus assist, and we all die.
I'll tell you what was up with the Zamasu thing. So, but the way the points worked then, there was one big online tournament and you got a bunch of points. I picked up Zamasu 8 days before that happened. I played that, won that, and since there was basically no locals at all on the West Coast, I basically qualified off of that alone. So basically, you could watch me play that match, and then you see nothing of me again until the actual regional qualifier.
That's crazy.
That's how Inzem popped up as well.
With Nitro, so I just didn't exist.
Like that's why new players can exist. Like Zane came up the same way, Inzem came up the same way. It's definitely very doable, very possible for the new player to just be nasty.
Because I mean, there is playing like a new character nobody knows, but there is also finding a new way to play said character. Because I would like to point out, Zane, you threw all of like the international players, the French as well, especially through a loop, because they had a Zamasu player, but they played him nothing like you do.
Yeah,
where you are just like you are just in the top right hand side of the screen.
I kid you not. My favorite part across that entire first trip to France wasn't like anything involving the tournament. It was that first day where we did the 12v12. I sat down to fight against Noka. I picked my team, and it cut to the player cams, and Noka immediately like dropped his controller, looked at the other players, was like, "What the fuck?" He was just like, "What the hell's this team?"
He's over there losing his mind.
I'm trying to remember because I think I was actually out of town. I think I was in LA at my Airbnb. In stream chat, y'all can remind me. I think I streamed from my B&B watching that. Inzem, weren't you cooking at that shit? In that 12v12?
Inzem ran everyone the hell over during that 12v12.
I was trying to remember because I think I was at my Airbnb and Inzem was fucking people up.
I went and beat 2 of them, almost beat Wade, but no one really cared about that because Inzem smoked like 5 of them.
Yeah, everyone thought I was gonna get clapped by Kane, And I'm not gonna say I thought that too, but after that first game, I was just like, "Yo, Vegito assist got
I was
hands,
sitting
let's
here like he's about to
go."
do it to Kane, bro.
Nah, so you know what got you know what got me so tight about that though? When I beat Kane, y'all wanted to give me my gas, and I was so ready to accept my gas. I was like, "Yes,
And
let me
they
get
were
that
like,
shit."
"No."
And then he was like, "No, go back over there. You don't get nothing." I'm like, "I don't get nothing." No, I'm like,
I just wanted to get up to get a bottle of water, and he said, "No, you're not allowed to get up. I will bring you the water."
Sit your ass down.
Okay. They were having none of it.
That event was so much. That's like still, I think, the most fun I've had in this game. To be completely honest, not even just that event, just being there.
Being there was so much fun.
That event was. I'm not gonna lie, that event was rough for me. That first day, that first match I did, I kid you not, I almost collapsed because my legs wouldn't stop shaking after I played my first match.
Wait, Zane,
the nerves were rough.
Wait, Zane, you won one game in your group, right?
I lost my first 3 all 2-0 because I fought Scientific ALF, who I beat all the time here, and I literally couldn't walk afterwards because the room was spinning. And then after that,
he made your knees weak. That was crazy.
Then after that, I fought I think Nitro after that, and then Sonic, and then I won the last 2-0 to barely qualify.
Bro, your arms were heavy.
Bro, if Nitro let
on your sweater already.
All Nitro had to do was let someone win one game.
Cringe.
You said all I have to do. I'm not gonna give anybody no free games.
The nerves were fine. Fine after that. That first game, even if it was against someone who I fought all the time, I couldn't walk afterwards. But then fast forward to the final 8, and I'm like, this is easy now.
I can't even lie. Like even like me, I have obviously visually, I'll see like near like 1,000 people watching me live, concurrent, whatever, and then like on YouTube even more than that. And I guess I don't put it into perspective because when I started doing just random local shit, I get to top 8, they put me on stream, and it's like the viewers are probably like, there's probably like 40 people in there. But for some reason, because it's like out of my comfort zone, it's not like my viewers. Yeah, it's different. And I wasn't like super like shook, but it was definitely like I was like, why am I feeling nervous? Like
it's the tournament setting, dude.
Yeah, they call it like it's a whole different game for a reason.
Yeah,
simply because of that.
The characters become fast all of a sudden.
Super
it's the adrenaline. It's literally the adrenaline.
Low key kind of slowed down, except for this one Krillin mix that I lost to, and that shit pissed me off still. But bro, shit kind of slowed down. Like I'm like hyper focused and shit. It was fun. Man,
there's also like adrenaline in there as well when shit really gets going.
Bro said Colorado. Good luck, bro.
I remember
it's real.
No, it is fucking real. When I was at Worlds, like, it was my first time playing internationals.
People out here, bro. Just
I literally could not drink my water properly after that first match because my hand was shaking so much.
No.
And when I was doing that, literally, like before I even got a mouthful in, the dude tapped me on the shoulder and he was like, "You're up. You have to go over there now to play again."
Raptr, do you know who? There's one player. He's. I'm pretty sure he was Australian. I forget what event he was at, but he's like a tallish. I don't know. He might have been short, but on camera. Novix, yes, yes.
Yeah,
that dude.
All tall.
That dude. I could tell that he was good. He was nice, but that dude was a nervous fucking wreck.
Listen, I'm not gonna linger too much on that, but in the entire lead up to Worlds, by the way, for like the next one, he did not approach me once for either like advice or information or to practice.
Hey, was
just because
he sound like he didn't take full advantage of the resources at hand.
I got no idea. Yeah, he was not interested.
I don't know if he was just nervous or overconfident, but either way, watching him on stream, I was like, from the gameplay, I can tell the nigga nice, but he couldn't get it together. I felt bad watching.
He crumbled. Yeah. He crumbled big time.
Yeah, I felt bad watching.
Like, it's fucking hard when you're in the hot seat, mate. When you're in the hot seat, it's fucking
go
hard.
crazy.
No matter
Come on, though. The light starts to shine. They get bright. You get hot.
The lights was too bright,
Jared, because they don't know how to do production.
That
oh
was.
God,
oh my God,
was it Shanks? Was that Shanks who was
happened
like
to a lot of us?
Yeah,
during the actual like finals, like they had to swap like 4 PlayStations because of overheating.
Bro, my monitor turned off at the end of my first game. I was going to lose my mind.
Speaking of which, so I still
won it.
There's a bit of controversy about like PS5 versus PS4 and like fucking USB ports melting or some, like I heard a bunch of crazy shit.
Yeah,
but Rollback is gonna be, like, we have to remember, it's gonna be exclusive to the PS5 version and Xbox Series S version when it comes to consoles. So with that said, most people you would imagine are going to get used to playing on PS5, so that's probably going to be where they stay. And also, because they're making a new version of the game, I wonder if that, like, is rollback going to be the only thing that they add to this new version of the game, or are we going to get like any sort of performance?
I feel like it has to be
enhancements and shit
more.
like that.
I'm genuinely surprised they haven't announced an ultimate edition where they just like you package up all the DLC. Like it gives you an excuse to just resell the game again for full price because like it's got all the DLC and shit.
Right.
Which if it is only an update does make me think maybe it is because they are just like reverse engineering the rollback from whatever their next project is. Because why would you invest so heavily in like a 5-year-old game that you are not selling DLC for anymore? At all, and you're not even gonna repackage it.
Listen, I don't pretend like the business decisions that a lot of these companies make are ever from a standpoint of logic. Because if logic were a factor, there's so many more things that we would have and so many different things that would exist. That's
I just think like Bandai and Toei really fucking like money.
Yeah.
So I always think like if you have a free excuse to just sell the game again, would you not? I don't know, man. It's fucking.
you want it to make sense, but it doesn't.
Who knows?
It's Funhouse Mirror World over
slept
there.
on so much money from these skins or costumes they could have done.
That being said, though, I am not convinced.
You could just sell more colors.
I'm not convinced that PS5 will be the tournament standard for DBFZ even when rollback is released. Simply just from like. I don't do.
But it was last year, was it
no.
not?
I mean,
no, it was PS4.
Not for Dragon Ball.
Offline, it doesn't matter.
My other thing is
offline
like,
it matters. Yes.
No, I think it will be a PS5 because they'll have a new port since it's a new. Since it's only on PS5.
But PS5 has more input delay.
No, but since I don't think.
No, the
I
new
think that's
version
because
is
it's the
gonna come
PS4.
out. Rollback is gonna be exclusive.
Okay,
to
so
PS5.
my question is, and like
it's a new
you
port.
guys are gonna have to answer this better than I will be able to because the amount of events I go to or have gone to is very limited. Do events other than Evo have enough PS5s to even be able to do that? Because you got to remember, the vast majority, if not all of those, are going to be prioritized for Street Fighter 6. Absolutely.
Well, they outsource their consoles to gaming generation, right? It's not the event that has their own
right. Like they rent them or whatever. But even still, like I just because like I say this because even at Evo, there just were not enough consoles around for all the games. And granted, the event's fucking massive, the biggest of all time, right? But I don't know. I just don't know if like logistically if like it'll even work out to where the game could be. And if you pair that with the fact that MK1 is going to come out, that's going to be on PS5. Exactly.
I'm assuming the new Under Night will also be on PS5. The new Grand Blue is probably going to be on PS5.
It's going to slowly trickle into like a world where it's going to be PS5 standard.
I mean, yeah, eventually, right?
You gotta let the PS4 go eventually. That shit is now.
100%.
I just don't know if that. I guess it
eventually.
depends on when rollback does eventually release. But let's say if it were to happen this year, I don't think this year DBFZ would be on PS5.
I mean, well, because I imagine they only need they only need next gen, just because the fucking hardware can't handle it. Because there's so much more it has to, like, be computing at all times. Because there's so much more shit happening in Dragon Ball.
That makes sense.
That the netcode has to account for.
I don't know.
When it's offline and
it'll be interesting to see.
when it's offline and you don't have to account for that, you could probably just get away with PS4.
It's gonna be limited though if you keep playing on PS4. Like you have to eventually just let it go. Truthfully.
No, for sure. I mean, that's just with every console generation in tournaments. Like eventually, niggas had to move on from PS3, and eventually the PS4 will have to move on.
Xbox and Marvel to the PS4.
Unless you play Melee.
Well, the niggas on hardware from the 90s still. That's crazy.
That's a
whole lot of old CCTVs.
That's fucking crazy.
Bro, that game actually made me like spend like 5 hours finding one of those TVs, and I actually found it too because I was not going to give up.
I actually have one of them still. That's just an addict though.
Eventually, they're gonna run out of that shit, right? When they mod out.
Melee's gonna outlast that age of technology. Yeah.
They're gonna run out eventually.
It might, low key.
Melee will only die when they run out the ability to actually play the game.
Nah, dude, they can play it. They can play it on fucking current monitors. They have setups for it.
Yeah, they got Slippy and shit. They're fine, but
Nintendo comes along and goes,
we know how well that worked out last
Do you guys have any like final thoughts, remarks, or like anything you want to get off your chest? I think about the game before we start trying to wrap this up. I guess since it's been been over 3 hours now. I think we've discussed quite a lot. And also,
I'm already on the game. Can we get handled?
I'm sure Seyhan and Wade are dying to crawl into bed. So
I'm a different man.
Final thing for me, I love the game. I think I would not be here if it wasn't for the game.
Dragon Ball's so good. Yes.
Yep, I don't like what it's become, but I'm still gonna play anyways.
Still very hopeful for the future of the game. That's for sure.
Lay Wade go. Let's start from the bottom. Since they're later.
Yeah, let's take it from the bottom.
Go ahead, Wade.
So Zane, you've had your thoughts.
Yep, I already said.
And
Wade, how
any
you
final
feel?
thoughts, Wade, before you fall asleep?
No, I'm there. Final thought about the game.
You don't sound like it there.
He sounds pretty gone.
Your final thoughts on the game right now to close things up.
I think the game is in a better state than the just lab code fusion and stuff like 2 months ago. But I still want to see what will happen in tournament. Especially that's why I want to go to ECT because I think this tournament gonna be fucked up.
I'm not trying to fight a hit player. Keep
like shit, bro. Get away.
I had to deal with Yasha last time. I'm not dealing with you. Leave.
Another one invades.
Nah, the new hit is just.
Y'all scared y'all can't defend the home turf? What's going on here?
Yes.
I'm not even going to play, and I don't
really be like that sometimes.
I'm scared. but like, yeah, I just want to see what happened in the tournament. But I kind of like the game right now.
Gotcha. What about you, Seyhan?
Final thoughts. It's better than previous patch and maybe better than lab code double fusion patch, but I just need the rollback update to actually like see for myself if the game is really good for me or not. Yeah.
For sure. Dion?
Game fun. Game real fun. Game crazy. Game real crazy. Game
why do you start losing brain
Nigga's
cells?
an NPC, bro.
He said yes. Love
losing
game.
brain cells because he plays this game.
Bro, because I'm enjoying the patch. What the fuck you mean, bro? I'm supposed to retain brain cells after this shit?
He said, yes, I love game. He my baby.
I think the game is in a good overall place. There are some things that are just ignorant, like Blue Vegeta's command grab being completely invincible and fucking and I love it. I play Blue Vegeta, but that shit is ignorant. I love it. And then GT Goku Cloud, goddamn, bro, you really
showed me what for.
Dude, when you hit me with the command grab, I was like, damn, this is what I'm doing to people, huh?
I know. We were both just hitting each other with the ignorance, but yeah, a couple things that are just like glaringly ignorant, but outside of that, I think the game is in a good spot in terms of character diversity and a lot of people just enjoying the heck. At the end of the day, this is a video game. You play a game to have fun, and I get it from a competitive side. It's a little like whack, but I think this shit's in a good spot.
Got you.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Raptor?
I'd say it's fucking Dragon Ball, baby.
It's
We're here for it. We're here for it. Yeah, let's go.
It's no longer trying to be Marvel. It's just Dragon Ball.
It's just Dragon Ball. So I'd say the game's a lot of fun.
Let's not disrespect Marvel.
Yeah, let's not go down that path.
Let's not do that.
I do think competitively it could be good depending on how it goes, but I mean it's up in the air how the meta develops, but I think I share the sentiment with a lot of fucking people in that give us the rollback and the game will just immediately get so much better without the need of a patch, without the need of changing the game, anything else.
Got you. I will.
But that's not exactly a hot take.
I will quickly say I wanted to mention this and I forgot to say it earlier. Is that I've seen a very common sentiment being that the game it finally feels like Dragon Ball. It feels more Dragon Ball than ever before. And I don't know about you guys, but I never really felt like the game wasn't Dragon Ball enough. Like I always felt like it was
always Dragon Ball.
I always felt like it was a very good representation of like characters and everything.
I just think it's more Dragon Ball.
No. You're missing it. It was Dragon Ball. Now it's Dragon Ball Z, brother.
All right. Anyway, Nitro.
Hey, I was cooking, bro. Let me cook. Go ahead.
Nitro.
Oh, me. My standpoint still stands where it's like, competitively, I don't think I would even want to attempt.
You gonna do it though.
But Possibly.
You're
Just
still gonna enter the game.
Let's
You
see.
would-
We're just seeing how much time it takes to hit the sub goal, and then we'll see.
Dude, when you enter a Guilty
bro.
Gear tournament, you're gonna sign up for Dragon Ball anyway.
Bro, just play.
I'm not sure about that one. Like I would have last patch, I would have been like, yes, it's time. But
He's
this
just lying
patch,
right
I'm
now
kind
for
of like,
vibes.
I don't know. I don't know if I
Just
can
playing it by ear at this point.
Nah, I see AOC, man.
All right, we'll see. I actually wasn't even going to go this week, so that was it's funny that you mentioned that.
Yo,
So you want to be an AOC press?
Yeah, I'm a guy.
So you still playing the game?
All right, still
I would say he's trying to play some Team Gohan.
Yeah,
he's trying to play some
he's still
Team. Bro
playing.
said, I mean, like, I don't really know, but my character got crazy buffs, so like,
My man's
Nah, I think they finally made him a character.
finally,
man to being stuck in the cells.
Here we go.
I think he finally became a character when he got the auto combo.
Finally, my nigga. I feel like
he's been a character since.
I was saying nigga been a character for like 4 years, but for sure.
All I got here for me.
No, he was a character in season 2, and then everyone else got better, and then he wasn't a character, and now he's a character.
No, nigga, see, this is what happens when you come from a place of fucking privilege. Because I've played characters that actually were not characters. Meanwhile, Team Gohan just wasn't number 1, so he wasn't a character. All right, bro.
The crazy thing, this is the same thing with a Don't Gohan. Everybody swore Don't Gohan was like the worst character.
You're also a Kid Buu player, and y'all was doing that shit every patch for 4 years.
I always thought Kid Buu was. I mean, I always thought Adult Gohan was sick nasty. All right, I wasn't an Adult Gohan.
Yeah, you're clean. You're clean.
But Kid Buu.
Listen. It took 5 years, but you niggas are finally right. It took 5 years, but you're finally right. Kid Buu's not that great anymore. Holy shit.
Yeah, Lotus, I will say though.
We knew it was gonna happen eventually.
Inzem thinks Trunks is broken, so I don't know if you play a low tier.
I do.
Trunks
bro.
is not. Trunks has been theoretically broken for like 4 years and has still yet to actually come to that reach
I'm
that
gonna be
potential.
honest. I don't think that shit is theoretical anymore.
He hasn't been.
No. Don't get me wrong. I think the character is significantly stronger now in this patch.
He's always been
than
alright.
his last patch, but I mean, I also just feel like again, character power is so high. I'd have to see more to feel like he's actually moved up that significantly, because like so many characters are dumb right now. I don't know if his changes are enough for him to also be considered really dumb, but I do think he's good. Like I think he's way better. A lot of the changes he got are shit I wanted to see, but
Especially in a team game, you can't really look at changes in a vacuum either.
For sure.
Because you will be dealing with 3 different matchups every time you play.
For sure. That being said, what about you, Inzem?
Kind of the same thing as earlier, right? Like competitively, I think I don't want to say it's the worst it's ever been, but it's up there just given how like these options are. But casually wise, it's definitely really fun. Kind of the whole thing is like this game has always felt like Dragon Ball, but like now it's just like it feels like I don't want to say like the old games where like somebody will hop into a stream and they'll see like their favorite character, like they'll see Vegeta just do this crazy 100 hit combo into a Big Bang attack, into a Final Flash that like sends them off the planet. They're gonna be thinking like, damn.
Nigga really playing a Dragon Ball game. That shit look kind of sick.
He's like he just got packed up. So in that regard, it's really really good. But it's the same thing, right? Like the rollback has to come out for it to be like even remotely where it probably should be, right? For a game as big as this, like because it doesn't match what it used to be. That's for sure.
For sure. I got you, Daniel.
Overall, I think the game is really good. I mean, overall final thoughts, I would say if you have fun on a casual level, you should get into the game now today. And as a competitor, I think you should still at least give this game a tournament shot, like give it one more shot. But it'll be fun to break down the game, see how it goes on here on out. But overall, I think the game is good. It's good. Final thoughts. It's good.
Cloud.
Besides when the game first dropped, it's probably the most exciting at a spectator level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not gonna see fucking the same teams over and over, right? The fusions are still solid, right? But now you can see, GT Goku, you're gonna see more Jiren, you're gonna see more hits, right? You're gonna see a variety of characters. So the game in terms of what I guess Bandai was going for the spectator and casual point, they made it. They did what they wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of characters viable now. Tournament scene, you're gonna see a bunch of different characters, right? Obviously, you're still gonna see the current top players still. In top 8s, maybe you'll see, another person, but the top 16, 32s. Spectators are gonna fucking love that shit, dude. They're like, oh my god, it's Blue Vegeta. Holy shit. it's fucking GT Goku. Oh my god, is that a fucking rare sighting of Krillin, right? You know, garlic bread shop.
It shouldn't be that rare, by the way.
Krillin might low key be top 3, by the way. I'm just gonna say it.
It's exactly right. Cajuns are crazy, you know.
Fuck that bald ass character.
I hate him too. I hate him too, but I'm scared of him.
They accomplished their goal, but the point is, at the end of the day, how well is that going to be for the game, right? Like that they already gave up on us competitors, but I mean, yeah, right. You know, you laugh like, yeah, exactly. They're thinking of the casual audience, right? But I think competitively, still worth giving a shot, especially because they're giving us another world tour, which is insane to me. This is what, the fifth one?
Fourth one.
You know,
we need that.
Never mind.
No.
All I want to say is that they don't really care about us.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. But yeah, so they still want to see a competitive aspect of the game, and they're giving it to us. And the question is, will we answer the call? You know, a lot of people don't like it, but some of us will still be there, right? So I think there's still reason to compete in the game because they're like, hey, here's another tour.
I mean, absolutely.
We're giving it to you guys.
I'm sure there are several players. I mean, like even Inzem himself, he says like, I'm still gonna play because I'm trying to finish out this world tour. But beyond that, we'll see what happens. So I definitely hear that. But yeah, so I actually thoroughly enjoy this. I'd love for it to go on even longer, but obviously time zones are a thing, and also I've just got some things that I personally need to handle. But I'm very glad that we were able to get together and do this, and hopefully it's something we can do again at some point, whether it's just discussing more about the current state of the game or the future, or if there's any other updates or DLCs or patches or anything that end up coming to the game. This is definitely something that I'd like to do again, as long as you guys are willing to as well. Obviously working it out because, you know, we're scattered out all over the world. Time zones are very difficult, but all the more reason why I'm eternally grateful and very appreciative of Raptr, Seyhan, Wade, all coming out tonight, and for all of you guys. So I greatly appreciate it. And hopefully everyone out there watching, both in my stream and everyone else's stream, to enjoy this, and you guys out there on YouTube as well. I think we had a great conversation, a great mix of opinions, whether they be positive or negative about the patch, and shed a lot of light on how a lot of people view the game and certain perspectives, whether it be the competitive aspect or the casual aspect. So yeah. I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative. Even though the game for me isn't in my ideal state, even though I'm not having the most fun playing it, I'm very not grateful, but I'm happy for those of you who are. I'll say that. And if
it'll grow on you, give it some time.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm not gonna lie, that low-key might be true because it has so far grown on everyone. It's funny to see the transition.
We'll talk a bit more about this after I end it here. But I just want to close this out, and like I said, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Hit this video with a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you can stay tuned for all this content when I bring you. With all that being said, it's pretty much off today, and remember, nothing can happen to you swing the bat. Later.
Later.
Teehee.
Peace.
Boy.